Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Experience.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
It's funny, I feel like you needed the whiteboard for that, even though none of that info.
Yeah, I think something went wrong there because in my head I was about to say throwback edition, but it's not throwback edition. But it just feels so weird because it's a week without Joe.
It's true. Either way, welcome back to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar.
Welcome to the party.
And Simon.
Welcome, weirdos.
What we normally do here is quite simple. The three of us normally listen to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, and then we rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. And then normally we discuss each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. If you're an avid Joe Rogan listener, you know that this week he took it off. Obviously, he's moving the family to Texas. One of you called that. I was wrong.
I speculated that. I don't want to be a told you so guy.
Oh, whatever. You can be I told you so. You deserve it. So Kamar was right. Joe took the week off, moved the family to Texas. So I'm not going to lie. Normally, we would probably want to take the week off, which we've never done.
No, we have not. We're here for you guys.
We did think about it, but we had an ad to fulfill. So here we are.
I'm very glad we didn't. I like not having to listen to any Joes this week. I thought that was a breath of fresh air, but I would have missed our fireside chats.
I also think this is a great exercise to see if we can make something out of nothing.
Oh, well, we can definitely make something out of nothing.
Oh, this is the test for when we get the cease and desist. Is that what you're saying?
You got it, buddy.
Gotcha,
He moved to
okay.
Spotify. It can't be far off.
Okay. So yeah, normally we would discuss Joe and the comings and goings, but there was nothing. So this week we're going to just kind of riff. We went to the Patreon. We asked them if there's anything they wanted to talk about.
Whoa.
That is dirty as a cat.
Oh, my God. Wow. All documented on video.
Meow.
No cough buttons over here, guys.
No fucking sneeze guard shields either.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh wow, I didn't even realize. Yeah, my bad.
You need some plexiglass.
Right at
here.
you. Right at you.
That's
Huh?
why we should be enclosed in bubbles.
We should. Yeah, whatever.
Right and dirty. Let's do it.
I need you to ask me about my week.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, sorry.
He said let's do it, and he didn't even give me a chance.
Slow down, man.
How was your week, Kamar?
Interesting week. Last week I went to a gender reveal party, and I thought it was stupid, but it was kind of exciting. And I wanted to ask Simon, did you find out your son was a boy before he was born?
They tried to, we tried to find out, but he was sitting cross-legged like the
In the womb.
true yogi he is, I guess, and he is not. And so we didn't know, and it was a surprise. So when he came out a boy, I mean, I would have been happy for any healthy
course, it's
child,
unconditional love.
of course, but I was very pleased that it was a boy.
And so do you think now if you were to have a child, you'd participate in a gender reveal party, or you just want to find out?
No, I would just find out on my own. I find those gender reveal parties to be gaudy. It's like people who have giant weddings and
there's only 6 people there. So
I hate it. It's that's even weirder.
Social distancing.
I mean, okay, sure.
I thought it was interesting. It was a girl. And then yesterday I went to Kazubazua. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Kazubazua for a lawn tractor pull.
Kazubazua. Just to help you out. And that sounds like a great time.
It was very interesting because this guy told us about it. And we're like, oh, we'll go check it out because in Quebec they're allowed events at 250. So we thought this was some event. But this was just on someone's lawn in Kazubazua, like 2 families.
Well, that's really funny.
It was super awkward. It was amazing having a superior intellect to anyone else there, but they had some pretty crazy tractors.
Back in the day, we took the kids to the carp fair, or one of those fairs. It was at the, I guess it wasn't the carp fair, it was somewhere. One of those fairs at the racetrack, the horse track. And it was like a dirt bike, smash 'em up derby. They had all these different things.
Like gearhead extravaganza.
It was so fun, man. Like,
some of the engines
fun.
like...
And Shep at the time was a little kid, and he loved trucks. You know, like boys go through that. They love anything mechanical. And he had such a good time.
Well, these people were saying that normally they would do the fair circuit, but because of COVID and whatever, they've been shut down, so they decided to throw this themselves.
Well, it sounds like the Hillbilly Olympics.
They were the hillbilliest of people, and I didn't know this. Kazabazua, I said it so many times.
You got it.
Is English.
Correct.
In Quebec.
In Quebec, yeah. It's a very weird...
But the hillbilly, like, I think there were 20 people there, and they may have one set of teeth to the whole group.
Have you seen the Hillbilly Olympics? Do you
I've
know
not-
what I'm
Redneck
talking about?
Olympics.
I've not seen it.
I'm sorry.
Well,
the
that's
Redneck
right. Of course, I've seen that. No, I haven't.
Well, you should check it out on YouTube.
Okay, I will, obviously. The funniest thing, though, is obviously these are all people missing their teeth, the hats, the plaids, the flannels. And there was one kid running around with blue hair. Like, he was just the one outlier. Like, these, I don't know if anyone here worked or anything. It was a little trailer park. It was quite cool. In Kazabazua, the drive up there is beautiful. Have you ever heard bucolic landscape?
Bucolic sounds like a disease-ridden landscape.
Yeah, well, anyways, I've heard the term, but it's the rolling hills with all the bales of hay. Like,
That's what it's called, bucolic?
I'm going to double check that. But rolling hills, valleys, and whatnot. It was beautiful.
No, we live in a great part of the country for sure, man. Like, we drive 25 minutes north and you are in the mountains. No? Matt, you with us, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just letting you guys go on about Kazabazwa.
I don't know. He's talking about his week. He seemed really
Don't you
excited
love to
about
say it?
Simon, how was your week?
My week was okay. It was an interesting week, again, with no Rogan, so didn't have to like worry about listening to any episodes. But knowing that we were going to kind of do something, I've been jotting down things of interest to me, and I like that. I like it wouldn't hurt my feelings if one day we had to just talk about our own shit.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't feel away by that.
Just for the
I would.
reference, bucolic, relating to the pleasant aspects of the countryside and country life. There you go.
It does sound because
Bubonic.
and colic is like a colic.
Oh, no,
child,
I thought it
so,
was.
Yeah,
I thought it was something.
it sounds.
The word
like
was
a
being used incorrectly.
Post-apocalyptical.
Mark, can I just say that that word of the day calendar is really paying off for you?
Hey,
dividends.
Just keep your ears open. How was your week?
That was fine.
Excellent. I'm assuming we don't always do the most prep for this podcast. There will be no post show this week.
We'll play it by ear, but I would assume there won't be.
So I'm going to take the chance and welcome our newest Patreon in a unprecedented move. Welcome Devin Lautner. Came in at Brian Redband. I guess he's the last to.
I'm going to have to give him his money back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll have to refund that
Because
dollar.
it comes in.
Because
at
he's
$5.
no, because we're taking $1 from him. He's not getting shit for it.
But I was thinking he's a good scammer. If he can go in right now, download everything, and then get out, right?
Oh, I got to edit this out. That's
Yeah,
fun.
you probably shouldn't have given that away.
Well, I'm surprised. I'm the only one who thought of that.
Can I talk about something now since you did a beautiful Subway for me? Because
Sure.
I mentioned it on the post show, not the post show, the throwback. But I mentioned it to people who were already Patreon members, and I just thought I would say this. So I heard this whole analogy, like I told you, of supporting a podcast kind of the way you would support a restaurant, a waiter at a restaurant by tipping. And I'm not at all saying you should tip a podcast, but it was more the idea like I go out to eat twice a week and I tip 20% on those meals without even thinking about it. I listen to 50 podcasts a week and don't give anything. Like if you're looking at it that way.
The interesting thing, though, is if all those podcasts you listen to, I don't think you listen to 50, but whatever, numbers don't matter. If they all were to go to behind a paywall, would you then just, I'm not listening to those people anymore?
Maybe some of them.
At least one you'd have to pony up for.
Sorry, my point to all of this was I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I don't go out to eat at all anymore, so I'm saving a bunch of money from that because I just don't. And I'm going to take $20 a month, and I know it's not a lot, and I'm going to pick the 4 podcasts that I think deserve my support from the ones I listen to.
Fighter in the ranks.
Definitely not.
That other guy.
And I'm going to do that. No, the ones I'm going to do are...
Specifically on Patreon?
Well, if they have a Patreon, I'll do it. If they have another thing, I'll do it. I don't know what.
But you want to support.
Support. And like I listened to this one called The Higher Side Chats, which is like a weird podcast I listen to. You get an extra hour every week. Like he does an hour for free and then an hour that you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still getting it with the same guest he has on. Just more.
Just extended.
Yeah, I love that. I'm more than willing to do that.
I think that's the most common thing people do.
There's a UFO pod. It's called That UFO Podcast. It just started. I see the guy is just starting out. I'm going to support.
Sure. I think there's something to be said, though, about like if your podcast runs a shit ton of ads, I don't need to go and support you on fucking Patreon. We barely get ads. Like, I'll put it to you this way. If we were ever at the point where every fucking single episode we had 2 ads, I would shut the Patreon down immediately.
I hear what you're saying, but we're not in that position.
I would go
not
completely
even
the
We're
other
in
way.
a struggling, we doing this like for nothing. So again, all I'm saying is I'm putting my money where my mouth is. But that brought me to my next point was then there's a podcast I want to support, but he's part of a podcast network. So then I'm like, does he really need my support? Because if you're part of a network, aren't you like guaranteed a certain amount of ads and a certain amount of this? Isn't that why you're a part of that network?
Yeah, but the network needs to make money on listeners and people. I mean, I don't know.
So I shouldn't feel squirrely about that one if I like the podcast, regardless of what, if it's a Parcast or a Gimlet or a whatever, I should just support.
I mean, first of all, people look at it the wrong way. The reason I said what I said was because if you have ads, it's almost like when companies make you sign their terms of services saying we're going to steal all your data, but then they still want to sell you the product that's going to steal all your data. For me, that's obscene.
They're double dipping.
Yeah, if you want to put Alexa in my home for free and steal all my data, okay, we can have that conversation. I'm getting something for free. You're getting something, well, not for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the transaction. The idea that like, I want you to pay for this thing that's going to steal your info is crazy. So it's the same way I look at it. Like, I don't know.
You don't?
But to your point, I mean, I haven't really thought about it that much, but I think I'd rather give more and have only a really successful Patreon than run ads at all.
I'd rather have exactly solely Patreon.
Right? Because then you're not breaking up the podcast at all. It's a perfectly clean podcast, and the people who are supporting you are the people who actually want to get. I mean, I
disagree because again, we know for a fact that so many people listen for free, and that's how they want it. Listen, the radio forever was free.
Well, no, there was ads.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's the same thing. If we run ads, I have no problem. Again, you're forgetting too that it's so easy to skip ads on podcasts. I'd rather just run it that way for free.
But people are still getting it for free. I'm not suggesting that it would go behind a paywall. I'm just suggesting that if your Patreon was successful enough, you would just, like you said, you wouldn't want to double dip.
But that would
so
make
you
us an
would pick
outlier.
one or the
Most
other.
podcasts do double dip.
But what you're forgetting too, though, is it's almost impossible to garner new fucking listeners through a paywall. Almost, I can't see.
Again, never suggested a paywall.
No, a Patreon is a paywall.
But it's not because it's still free. You can, the whole point of Patreon is that you're deciding whether you want to donate or not. That show is still going on.
Just the way we have it set up, we could go
No,
exclusively
but what
on
he's saying,
Patreon.
what he's saying is, if you're exclusively on Patreon, you have to pay to get on there. That's my point.
Oh, well,
like Cumtown is that model.
Again, that's not what I was suggesting. Anyways, let's move on because I assume this is really boring for people. I just wanted to say that I'm definitely
It's just the state of the industry. And
money where my mouth is.
we're going to come back to this because one of the topics we're going to talk
Well,
about.
that's right. That leads into because we all watched that Joe Budden's thing.
Okay,
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I thought we were all gonna.
I didn't know. Again, I just wanted it to be a topic to bring. But you watched it. Okay, good.
I did. It's so interesting.
Let's just jump into that then
Sure,
first.
perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Kumar.
no, hey, there's no order. What are
Yeah,
we doing
there's no
here?
order.
No,
We're
you seem disappointed.
No. I just we said we're going to stop talking about podcasting, and then we put Joe Budden, so we might as well.
It's a
Well, no,
good
here. So for the
segue.
listeners, last week I had said to Kamar, please add in your notes Joe Budden on Spotify because I had read an article that Joe Budden was leaving Spotify angry. I forgot that he had done an episode this week.
Oh, every
Where he
episode
goes
is
in.
about it now.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Anything you look into is Joe Budden.
I will say this. Joe Budden, to me, tends to come off kind of whiny a lot of the times. Like
A little whiny.
yeah, his main gripe is like, they just wanted my listeners. And like, how did you not know that going in?
No, but you have to smash cut to Joe Budden because he did his podcast for about 2-3 years, refusing to do advertising.
Yeah.
refusing to sign anyone. in the hopes to grab the big bag.
Gets
Fast
the bag.
forward, he gets the bag, starts
Not bag enough.
Well, no, it was more than bag enough because he started having Versace phone case or whatever, like just doing obnoxious little things, showing his wealth. Smash cut 2 years later, Joe Rogan signs for $100 million. Joe's like, I got ripped off, but
So I don't know anything. I don't listen to him. I don't know who he is really. All I know is this little clip that I watched, okay?
Yeah.
And I know the backstory, obviously, of him going to Spotify and all of that shit.
Okay.
But the one thing he said that to me made sense, I mean, he said a couple of things that made sense. But he said, they came to me, I went there, they didn't understand podcasting at all, which I'm sure was true. You know what I mean?
they wanted to get 1% of the podcasting market.
He went there. He said, like, even when we were signing my contract, I was explaining to them the way podcasting works. Fine, no problem.
Do you buy that?
I kind of buy that because I
A
think
multi-billion-dollar company?
But
that's
they're
trying to
surrounded
get-
just about the music.
they were a music company just trying to get into podcasting. Again, his huge gripe about this is like, you can't use the music model on podcasting. Don't even try and bring that shit in
Because it's 3 minutes
here.
versus 3 hours, whatnot.
Don't talk to me about streams. Don't talk to me about anything. Just whatever. What he said to me, though, that made sense was they came to me. I went there. I fucking killed it. We did amazing in that first year. At 18 months or whatever it was, 16 months, they came to me and said, we want to lock you down for a huge contract like Joe, but not with the same stipulations, obviously, where he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. They wanted to own his brand, essentially.
I think it was like a 360 deal. Like for all of the three of them, anything they did,
That's
Spotify had a piece of.
That's right. That's what he was saying. And he was like, no. And not only no, don't come to me again with that offer. It's insulting. I'm not stupid. I come from the music industry. I understand exactly what you guys are doing that. You're not going to do it here. Don't come to me with that offer again, period. And then he said after that, the relationship was totally soiled, and that's why they like vengefully went about whatever they went about.
Who's they?
Spotify.
They vengefully just paid more money to other people, you mean?
Yeah, like instead of, I guess, keeping him part of like this growing company, they instead went out and spent all their money on Gimlet and Parcast and all these other things that he talked about. And then when it came time, I guess, to give him like the fat money and the free deal, like they're giving Rogan, instead they were pissed at him and they just gave it to Rogan. I don't know.
I want to point something glaringly obvious out. Kamar, you've obviously seen enough Joe Budden podcast to like through the years, right? I'm not saying you're an avid watcher, but like if you went back 4 years, you whatever. My point is this. Think about where we are. Okay, we started a podcast in my basement. We have since upgraded absolutely every single piece of equipment we could. Okay, we didn't spend $50,000, but with the money we had, we literally went, what can we buy to make this thing better? We found studio space. We did literally everything in our power to not spend money on ourselves, but to put it back into the podcast. Joe Budden's podcast has been in the same fucking apartment, the same fucking ragtag setup, despite all I'm saying is this: they got the bag. They could have spent a fraction of it back, putting it back into the podcast, improving it even fractionally, and they didn't. And like Kamar says, he's got Versace fucking.
Why does the guy sit on the tall chair? I'm sorry, Kamar. Why does he sit on the
Exactly.
tall chair?
Why does Mal sit on the tall chair? How hard is it to get everyone on the same?
No, but why does he sit on the tall chair?
I think that's just his comfort zone.
It's
He
just
doesn't wear
like-
headphones.
He likes being up top.
Let's keep in mind, a podcast is audio. I know we have this weird, like a lot of Joe's listeners have this odd, I can't believe it's leaving YouTube, and I get it. They watch it often, but a podcast is an audio medium. We all agree?
No, I think it started as auto medium. It's evolving.
Well, sure.
And Joe Rogan was probably the catalyst for everyone to be like, oh, video.
So where's he going to, by the way? Joe Budden.
No one knows. Maybe he'll
He
go to
said
Patreon.
anywhere but Spotify.
But so he wants to sign a contract with like Apple now, or he's just going to go out on his own and do like
This
a
is what
normal
I'm with Kamar.
podcast?
If he's as smart as he thinks he is, if you say I have 1 million listeners, then why not go $5 a month and you can continue listening to us? You get the same amount of content. Even if half of those people at 2.5 million people, or sorry, at a 500,000 people spend $5, they're
He's
rich.
got his bag.
That's what I'm saying. Monthly bag.
I'm not sure what the question you asked me, but I think Joe Budden invested in all this stuff from the get-go. Like he took his Complex money, because that's what happened. He was doing Complex, then he got a show with Revolt, which
Well,
I
he
think
had a
got
show with
pulled.
Academic.
Well, that was a Complex show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's still going.
Without
Everyday
him,
Struggle.
obviously.
What's the Revolt? Because he was saying he
Revolt
gets
is
a ton of money.
Revolt
from that.
is P Diddy's company, so that's a media company that P Diddy started with a bunch of shows, big platforms. But what I noticed with Complex and Revolt, they don't have individual channels, say for the shows. Everything's under Complex. And there's a sneaker show. There's Everyday Struggle. Same with Revolt. They don't have individual shows. So he made a bunch of money there and invested in his podcast there. Like what I feel we've done is taken all the money we've earned thus far and put ourselves in a position to succeed. So now we look forward down the road.
Yeah, but hold on. But my point is
Yeah,
this:
why
is like,
didn't he change the studio? I think.
well, no, but even what I'm saying is like he has, what we have, and like I would, if we were making his kind of money, I would have just invested a little bit more. There's a few other things that we could use. We don't need them right now, and with the money we're making, we're never going to get them. But if we got a huge bag, there's like you said. I get they're in New York. It's tougher. I can't imagine finding a studio space in New York. Actually, fuck that.
Well, and maybe
now
maybe they do have like a whole fucking clubhouse they hang out with, but they just want to do their thing in this apartment because that's part of the charm, you know?
what I was saying though, I
No?
think it's something to why Joey Diaz walked away from the church. There's a comfort zone. There's dance with the girl that brought you here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Sorry, that's driving me crazy.
Sorry, son.
What is?
I just see it like
his
getting
phone,
ready
yeah.
to-
If it were to fall and then smash our screen, but just I think it's almost this superstition. You know what I mean? Like take for instance Joe's new studio. I don't love it. Granted, it's only that. Camera.
I'll say this: I actually hate it. But
There you go.
But hold on, it's not my studio. I don't watch most of them. So the two things that I don't give a shit about, I thought it was cool as fuck. Whether I liked it or not, I didn't like the way it was lit and all that.
Well, I don't know if that's just
I think that's just
sitting
accoutrement.
time.
That's it. I don't think.
But it's just like I'm so used to the YouTube backdrop. That being saying, there was the Ice House
But that's what I'm saying. It's
era,
like,
whatever it changes, and if you like the content, you're good. I just don't know. I think it's like a comfort zone thing.
so I went on the Reddit this week and I polled the people. I only got like 20 responses, but I said, "What do you think Joe's move to Texas changes the podcast drastically? Yes, no, or it stays the same?" It stays the same. Got the most.
That was the majority of the votes.
Yeah, and then there was a slight edge on yes versus no. Here's why I think it will change it drastically. Like you said, Kamar, when the backdrops used to change, he was still in LA. All his comedian friends were still within arm's reach. How many times since we've been doing the show have we been certain that there was someone booked to come in and they canceled and he called Joey or called Tom or fucking Schaub or whoever and just had a one-off? You know what I mean? And that's not going to happen anymore.
I agree.
Like, I get that Bill Burr is not the type to go down there unless he's pushing something anyway, so Bill will still fly to Texas, but, like, Joey's across, like, even the fight companions are most likely...
They're gonna come work at his club.
I get it,
think
I get
that's gonna be a huge draw that you're not taking into consideration.
But it is only 52 weeks in a year. They can't all go to that club. You know what I mean? So that's 52 people you can have coming through every week, once a week.
okay.
I'm also...
So
I mean, Simon, we don't know what the...
But most of them aren't comedians. Like most people who come on Joe's show are a scientist or a novelist. That then he has a comedian thrown in there.
who's ever at his club this week?
So
but
it's not 52. It's
it's definitely from now till January. That's not an option though.
Hold on, it is 52. He has at least a comedian on a week. So that's 52 comedians.
no. But that's 52 a year. You don't think that he can handle 52 comedians through his club a year?
No, that's the max he can handle coming through. Like you can't have 5 comedians in his club that week. And
What if it works like the comedy store?
where are those
did?
people going to stay? The logistics. All those people are driving from their house in LA to the comedy store. That's why that works.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Well, can I point out the other thing too, Simon, that's really important is so like Kamar's saying, they all live in LA. The store is Mecca. The store didn't have to pay them the money that like if you are traveling to Texas for a show, that's a different rider. It's a different amount of money. Joe, and keep in mind, if he can only have 50 people at every show, he can't have the lineup that the Comedy Store had.
I totally agree. This is what I think is going to happen. If I could make like a future prognostication,
Let's hear it.
I think that going to see Joe is a huge deal for most people. So going there, the flight, whatever, all of that, maybe not making so much at the club, it's all part and parcel. It'll become like you go, if you're a comedian, you go do Rogan, you work at the club, however they work that out. I don't think it's going to be for a lot of money because people are going to be dying to do comedy if everything is still shut down and all of that stuff. And I think also you're going to see that a lot of people are going to leave LA and move to Texas. That's just what I think. A lot of comedians are going to follow Joe out there or into that general vicinity.
This is a possibility because Joe has only speculated about doing the club. It isn't, stated as a fact, and it wouldn't be till the spring. So we have this period from now till whenever where there will be not comedians coming through Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the short term, the move there, it will feel different. I think in that poll I voted that it will change. I can't say drastically or whatever. But what I wonder is if Spotify has now, because one of the things Joe Budden complained about was having to work. I think it was on Christmas or New Year's.
There's no way you bought that.
No, he's a whiny man.
No, but we have a podcast. Like, let's say that Christmas and New Year's fell on a Tuesday this year. We're not recording on Tuesday.
And Joe it's not the same deal. Joe is not an employee of Spotify.
I think the whole thing is ridiculous. He was happy as a Joe Budden and shit until Joe Rogan signed his deal. Then everything was like, I got ripped off. I got done wrong by.
You see, that's interesting.
Of course it's interesting that your perspective can change so fast. Because like I said, when he signed his deal, he was on top of the world. When Joe Rogan signs his deal, Joe Budden's getting fucked. So it's just a perspective thing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
It's also so stupid to assume that someone with a bigger audience is not going to get longer money a couple of years down the road. It's like QB contracts. You know what I mean? If you're the best QB, they're not paying you less than the best guy ahead of you.
But he was like, I was there with you when you started. There should be some, we've worked together from the start. You should have my back like I had yours. I don't know what his deal was.
But I'm just saying, for what he does, him and his friends sit around and just talk about the news. Yeah. They're not doing something specifically, opinions, whatever. And I think he was getting a lot of money to do it.
It's all.
But the second someone else got more money, he's getting ripped off. So
I
it's
understand.
just.
I understand.
And what was funny about Joe Budden is he only had like 2 hits, right? Pump It Up and one more of the song that was even.
Oh, he was a rapper?
Yeah, Pump It Up.
Exactly. He was a rapper.
Pump It Up. And
then
for sure.
He fucked his life on drugs.
Oh yeah, I think
for like
you've
10
told me
years.
this, yeah.
And then got together with a bunch of old rappers, washed up, called Slaughterhouse, and tried to.
Whoa. What? Bunch of washed up rappers.
Well, they had all had successful solo careers. Yes. I just don't think the rap career
We've had this exact conversation and argument where he said washed up and you were like, whoa, washed up.
I can't fucking sit here and listen to that shit.
They're all good in their own right.
I don't know.
But it was just their second coming, and the youth didn't embrace them. But Joe Budden said the reason why they didn't succeed in this era of Instagram, Twitter, where you can just get your own audience, is they didn't get enough push from Eminem.
Yeah, that's what he's...
Which is just false, because now we know you can go on SoundCloud. If your content is bumping with the kids, you're going to be successful. You don't need anyone. Versus when he was Pump It Up, it was all the record industry. They had to push you for you to be successful.
Right. Just before we jump off Joe.
Budden?
Or even Rogan.
Okay.
Holy fuck, man. I'm such a stoner. This is so crazy. How do I forget from like 1 second? It's
I don't know,
so
man.
nuts.
Joe Budden, Slaughterhouse, washed up rappers, Eminem pushing the industry.
It was something about.
I'm just trying to jog your memory.
Something about Joe.
Joe Roginski.
Joe Rogan, yeah.
It's a no-ski.
Anyways, it doesn't matter, man. It'll come to me later.
I doubt it.
Oh, fuck, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, well, at least it's
Can
recorded.
you edit all of this out?
No. I'll even forget to edit out the shit Kamar said earlier.
Perfect. You have a bunch of topics you want to go
Yeah,
over?
but you do yours first, because mine,
I was thinking we should go back and forth. but
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
We'll see how
I
it
love
works.
that.
I like how we went. I think we should go back and forth. I'll just sit here
Well,
and
no,
riff off of what you guys have.
mediate. Do you have anything you want specific you brought to?
He
Oh,
meant,
I have just the
he meant-
Patreon
He
stuff.
meant like this.
Yeah, sorry. A
Sure.
wide swath.
Yeah.
So first of all, I want to talk about last week. Aunt Becky went to jail.
What, from Full House?
Yeah,
Weird. Okay.
she got sentenced to 2 months. Do you think she's going to go in there and shank someone? You know, they say when you go to prison, you got to
You know what she's
beat up the biggest guy so no one fucks with you.
You know what she's saying, eh? She's like, I'm afraid to go to prison because of coronavirus. Like, she's already trying to get out of her 2 months.
Of course.
You see, here's the thing with that. I know we've talked about this before with the whole school thing and the parents and everything. Forget even that. It's just you have these two women, both famous, both actresses, both accused of the exact same crime. One of them, both guilty as fuck.
For paying to get their kids into schools.
One of them says, I'm guilty, give me my punishment. The other one says, I'm not guilty, fights it to the fucking nth degree, wastes everybody's time, and then wants to not serve her fucking due because of coronavirus. Like,
Is that a crime that should go to jail, though?
we've been through this. It probably isn't for a normal person. They're not going to learn by
have
having
to
to
set
pay
example.
money. No.
Well, there is a $250,000 fine as well.
I know, but they're so rich, Kamar. No amount of money is going to teach them a lesson, whereas $250,000 penalty for you would be enough so that you'd never do
That's
it
worse
again.
than going to jail.
I was like, give me the 2 months. Holy fuck.
But this is what I mean. For them, it's nothing.
Yeah,
So
I
we
get it.
have to find a punishment for them that makes some sense. And I think in this case, it's those 2 months in prison. You don't want them there for life. You don't want them there for a long time. But go let her fucking have to maybe shank somebody in the yard, you know?
Well, I hope she comes out with a face tat and some sleeves.
Kamar, how long do you think it would take to get yourself out of $250,000 in debt? Like slapped on you right this second. Boom.
The rest of my life. I mean, if I just hermitized and did nothing ever, moved back to my parents' house.
Did
maybe
he
10
have
years.
the $250,000 to work with to try and pay it back? Or it's like debt?
Parlay the $250,000 to something else?
Yeah.
10 years. If
No, I
just-
mean like just right now, someone walks in, City of Ottawa official, I don't know, boom, you have 250 grand.
I make more than
Holy shit,
$25,000
what are you
a year.
throwing
so.
out into the universe at this guy, man?
Well,
First of
10
all,
years.
nothing I say sticks or happens. So I'm glad you didn't say it.
It'd be 10 years.
Oh,
You're
fuck,
going to
would
be
take me
just
20.
fine, Kamar.
We hope so. We hope so.
I'm just thinking about 20 grand a year, 25 grand a year.
It's
25
impossible.
Just
grand a year.
paying off.
Impossible.
That's 10 years.
It's $2,500 a month. Or $2,000 a month.
At that point, I'm changing my name and just fucking
Oh, bankruptcy all day.
growing a huge beard and moving up to the country.
I'd probably try to get a bunch of credit cards, pay it off there, and then have enough just to leave the country.
Make a movie like Kevin Smith and
Go
just
become a
see
coke
what
dealer in
happens.
Costa Rica or something.
I'd like you both to think, because someone asked mine, but I want to get yours too. By the end of this, I need your top 5 dream guests on Rogan.
Holy shit.
Well, for Simon, it's like a gray alien, an ancient Mayan.
No, I would pick real people, but that's such a great question that I would have to give it some thought.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that this person asked, because I actually, for the last couple of months, have been compiling. Just anytime I think of someone I want on, I write it in my notes on my phone. So I have like 9 or 10 on
This
there.
person obviously didn't listen to 52 because I think we did all this in 52. Our first anniversary. We did a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'll do it again. I have no
I don't
problem.
remember.
Even then, I think mine's changed drastically since then. So it's good to do it once a year, I'd say. You might,
Yeah, we're going to do that today at some point.
Sure.
Okay, right on. So Aunt Becky's going to jail. We'll see what happens when she gets back. In Russian, Putin's rival was allegedly poisoned.
Allegedly.
Is that amazing?
Putin's rival? Is that what you're
Political
saying?
rival, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And so he was transported to Germany, but they're saying Russia delayed it to try to get the poison to pass, so it couldn't be delayed. But he got to Germany, and they've assessed that, yes, he was poisoned.
They love poisoning people in Russia.
After you heard about the Super Bowl ring incident with Putin, I'm just like, yeah, of course. Like, that's how he deals. The guy just does whatever the fuck he wants, whenever the fuck he wants.
It's not a shock to us at all. And what I'm just saying is, just like Lebanon, we talk about corruption here, but it's so much crazier other places. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when you
other places are not progressive.
No, when you were talking about like, oh my God, Trudeau stole like four. I'm like, oh dude, fuck yeah, exactly.
Run of the mill.
Yeah, drop in the bucket.
Who could blame him?
Putin's like pussy.
The difference is here, someone like Trudeau has to like use the guise of having his mom give a speech at a conference, whereas Putin just gives his mother whatever the fuck, you know? I don't even know if he has a mother, but
no, he was just born out of rock.
And that goes back to my question.
Chiseled from stone.
From granite. I was born in the granite fucking.
You always talk about the CIA's corruption or what they're up to.
Oh, we're going to get there.
Oh, but it has to pale in comparison to what the KGB does.
Here's what I'll say about that.
Does it though?
I think because the Americans have to hide it, where the Russians don't have to hide shit from their people, that it's become so much like there's so many layers to it here, you know? Whereas it's much more straightforward. In Russia.
I think they do have to hide their stuff from the Russians as well.
I think you'd be surprised when like countries like, you know, North Korea, China, Russia, who oppress their people, they don't have to do shit. They don't have to convince anybody of anything. They don't need support because they are all encompassing and they cannot be dethroned.
Well, what it is, which will lead me to my next point, is state-run media. So they've been, you know, through propaganda, whatever, all this time have an idea of what's going on compared to what's going on. And so the state media tells a specific narrative. And if it were to diverge from that, people might get upset. I mean, I don't know what the average Russian, like, do they think Putin's the best or like Putin's an asshole, but he's our leader. What are we going to do?
Well,
I don't know.
Here's a better question, Kamar. Do you think that people who live under like, I know it's not communist Russia anymore, but whatever it is, or under
State-run media?
North Korea or wherever, do you think they like their situation?
I always wonder if ignorance is bliss and they just don't know any better, because the only news they get is from the state or what they want to
right. So
them to be told.
Does like North Korea not know that South Korea is really good?
No, they do not. They think
I think to blanket statement say no, they do not is a bit obscene.
Well, we know from Shane Smith. I mean, it's years ago. There's no information
that
gets in there unless the government wants it to get in.
No, but there's tons of people smuggling in fucking USB sticks now, and there's a lot of like.
And the same way there are rebellious groups here trying to give you information that the mainstream doesn't want you to have. There are groups there that do the same. So
we don't know that. We're speculating.
Of course, no. In any oppressive situation, there's going to be a counterculture. I don't care.
I'll give Kamar this. We are speculating, but I'm 99.9% certain that that 10% of the population there knows what the fuck is up.
I don't know.
I can't disagree.
I don't know what the number is.
I'm just throwing out a random.
Nobody is an insane statement. Right? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody knows. It might be 1%. That's still a lot of people if you have a big enough populace.
But we know in North Korea, if you were to do this, if someone hears it, they're going to report you and you're off to the gulag or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the stakes aren't high, but that doesn't mean that the resistance doesn't exist.
Wouldn't you at least argue that there's a gulag full of people that know what's going on then?
I would not argue that at all.
Okay, well.
No, but the gulag is often not near
I get
the
it. It's a camp. Yeah, I get it. But there's a concentration of people in the country that know what's what.
We're getting fucked. They
Again, we don't even know if the gulag
you're probably not about to complain about the gulag.
No, you're probably like, actually, this, it could be. I heard in Russia the gulags are way worse.
This gruel is the best gruel I've ever had. Yeah. Thank you, Kim Jong. Because they all think he's the greatest golfer ever.
If Trump is running the gulag, it's the best gulag.
Dude, they think
The
he
best
hit
goal.
18.
Tremendous.
They think he hit 18 hole-in-ones in a row.
Exactly.
Golfing.
Who, Kim Jong?
Yeah.
The North Korean population.
Well, apparently he's dead, and it's now his sister who's moving into the throne.
And who knows what the truth is from there. But it's crazy when, like you said, we compared it with the We scandal or whatever it is. And that brings me to the next point. In politics, we got a new conservative leader. I thought it was going to be Peter MacKay. It's Aaron O'Toole. Spelt Erin?
What a tool.
Are we ready for a prime minister named Aaron?
With last name Tool?
O'Toole.
Oh, O'Toole.
But the Tool.
I thought for sure. I mean, I already called this a little while back. I said the only one they could run was Peter MacKay.
We thought.
No, I mean, I thought that was the only one who could win because of my theory about people wanting handsome leaders. And I don't think Peter MacKay is especially handsome.
I think his eyes are a little close together.
They are, but he still dated, what's her name?
Belinda Stronach.
He was like the cool guy. He
was.
has that air to him.
Seemed like it had some charisma.
He could have rivaled, especially now when what's his name is in trouble, Trudeau.
It was his time.
It would have been a perfect opportunity for him to use any little bit of handsomeness he had to try and combat Trudeau's
'Cause he's
beautiful
gorgeous.
face. Oh, he's so gorgeous. I see why he got all those votes for free.
So it ties in because of media, because Aaron O'Toole has come out and said he would defund the CBC. As we know, we pay $1 billion to the CBC for anyone foreign. CBC is a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, our state-run media, but we assume it's...
What do you think about that? Do you think that the CBC is running like a bunch of propaganda?
well, this is a question I want to ask. So he said he's going to defund the CBC. Can the CBC run stories on that legitimately as a discussion point? As a independent news organization could say why the pros and cons of defunding the CBC. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's weird. It's a really like meta type situation. I know Matt doesn't like that, but it's a real Inception type situation where
Isn't it a conflict of interest though?
well, but
Well, hold
again,
on.
it has to be talked about.
Well, if you're CBC and you just put it out there in the lexicon and say, "What do you guys think?" That's not. I don't know. That's not a conflict of interest.
would they
If you're
even do that?
actively out there saying,
if you're running
we need
smear
us
campaigns,
for sure, we need us.
What I would say when you asked your question, the CBC is definitely slanted left.
right? I'm just wondering how like Schitt's Creek is influencing the youth in,
I don't think Schitt's Creek has anything to do with CBC like in that aspect. I think it's CBC News, CBC Radio. I don't think the entertainment division we pay for. Maybe we do. I guess so.
We pay for it all.
We pay for it all. What do you mean? We pay for everything.
So when Schitt's Creek blows up in the States, they got nominated for Emmys.
no, but
do they send a bunch of money back to us?
No, they're still a private show.
So that's where
They're
where's the difficulty?
I just don't think they pay the same like airtime fees that maybe you'd pay for like an NBC or right, like that they
You guys are
they
forgetting-
help Canadian shows.
You guys are forgetting that, like, okay, so Kamar started off by saying our state-run news corporation, which
that
like,
makes it sound worse.
It's not really state run either. It's like sorry,
well,
go
it's
ahead.
Well, no,
totally
but
state funded.
yeah, fine. But my point was like when you say it like that, it sounds like a Venezuelan propaganda wing or like the Russians. It's not necessarily that. I'm not saying there isn't some. I'm sure there has to be. It's a fucking news network for the most part.
Well, in the same way that they have the power of a king to curate what is in their kingdom.
Sure, but what I was going to say is that I think it was mostly implemented so that we didn't just get bombarded and inundated with American culture, so that we kept. It's kind of like the idea.
Well, that's why CanCon was implemented. CBC was implemented because we have such a big country and they wanted everyone to hear what was going on.
You're both correct. Is the point?
Yeah.
It started because of that. It kept legs because of what you said
To preserve our culture.
our culture. But it did the point of having
I understand,
any
yeah.
state-run news network. I mean, I don't like that.
Well, keep in mind, any crown corporation in Canada is actually set up to stop monopolies. That's really the idea.
Right.
I mean, but CTV News is actually independent.
The same way. Sorry, we'll come back to that in 1 second.
that's-
the
well-
same way that the crown buys land in order to keep people
Precisely.
from owning too much of Canada.
But that was my point, is like Kamar brought up CTV. So like, let's say the Canadian government noticed that CTV had a real stranglehold on the news and could then create propaganda or change the news. They would create the CBC to say, hold on, we need to create something that's a more neutral and Like that would kind of be.
But it's not neutral, the CBC. I think we can agree.
CTV is a private. It's the equivalent of an NBC.
It's owned by Bell.
Yeah, which is a huge. I mean,
Bell Media, yeah.
God, right there. But you know that's true too in the States. It's 5 companies that, and 3 of them own all the news networks.
But in the States, they have NPR, and I wonder if it's CPAC or PBS.
Okay, but really, we all know that who gives a fuck about TV now? We all have the internet.
Well,
You know
what I like
mean?
CBC for is all the local stuff.
You're only talking about old people.
Local news, regional stuff. Like, I think that's why it's important. I really wonder, like I said, propose this situation. They can't say, yeah, defund us. It'll be a good thing.
But let me ask you, when you listen to like CBC radio, do you truly, when you listen to that, are you telling me that you feel that it's like a heavy left-leaning listen?
I only listen to CBC radio, and yes, there are no conservative voices on CBC radio.
No. He's absolutely
Every morning it's...
Hold on, okay. I didn't say what you misinterpreted what I said. There might not be any conservative voices, but you think they all are heavily, heavily left-leaning.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think it's the way it is.
So you think they're just actively pushing all the crazy bullshit on CBC radio?
Actively pushing, or that's what they think is important, I think is a better way to put it.
Well, and it totally depends on like the host you hire too, right?
Like they got rid of Evan Solomon because he was too conservative, and now he's on CTV.
Like you see that a lot where, I don't know, like even in our local radio, like you know how there's 580 or whatever.
That's way more conservative.
Right.
Okay,
but then if a guy becomes like disenfranchised with what he moves over to like
Rebel Media.
But let me point out the important thing
like
is if you're working,
1310.
if the CBC is an arm of the government and you're out there saying some wildly conservative shit that some people could consider, again, like you'll lose your government job. I don't see why that's that far-fetched.
No, nothing's far-fetched. I think CBC slants left. I don't want the CBC to go away. Like I listen to it all the time.
So if there
way more than you do.
when there's
I don't care if it goes away.
will be the last thing I'll say about this. If there's a conservative government in power, then does it lean more right?
No. I think
always leans
they might
left?
thwart. Well, who remembers?
That's weird.
I felt CBC was sort of anti-Harper when he was in power.
Well, that's so odd. Okay, anyways, I mean, whatever.
We'd have to
Nobody
go back
wants
into
to
survey.
hear about
No,
our
we have
fucking
mostly American
garbage.
listeners, and
Yeah,
I don't
this
want
is-
to talk about
I
Canadian
was just going to say,
politics.
I find this so boring.
Well, I'm sure Americans don't love us talk about American politics when
Well,
half the shit we
let's
don't know
not
about.
do that either.
Well, we have to because it'll be quick. It's very quick. This week was the RNC convention. Now,
That seemed like a real disaster.
but 2 notable speakers for the RNC, because last week we had Billie Eilish and whatever, much younger,
Yeah.
hipper.
Chachi?
Herschel Walker, yes. Well, Scott Biles. Herschel Walker, though. And I thought that was interesting. Like, do you think he's retarded? Because you guys think Trump's racist. And, like, where's the disconnect with Herschel Walker?
Money.
He can put that sort of stuff aside and say it doesn't matter if Trump's a piece of shit.
I think
I'm
a lot
protecting
of
my money.
people, I think a lot of people care about money over everything. And as long as you're about to make or profit a ton of money, then you don't give a fuck if the guy in charge is like maybe racist or very racist.
If
Who
you don't
gives a
want to
fuck?
offend anyone, would we be calling Herschel Walker an Uncle Tom?
No, I don't like using that term,
I don't think so.
especially as a white person.
And
I don't think that does the black community any fucking favors.
And another notable speaker at the RNC was Dana White. So does that change your view of the UFC, knowing that Dana
No,
White's
I already
a huge
knew
Trump
Dana White's a
supporter?
huge Trump supporter. They're like best friends. However, Dana White was a Trump supporter. Like he was a friend of Donald Trump's long before he became president. Not that gives him a pass. I don't think Dana White's a good dude. So,
Do we think he's not racist though? We don't know.
well, he's from Boston. So, I mean,
Yeah, a little bit.
you know, like you can only go so far. Simon.
Yeah, I just like Trump racist. He does totally things that you would think are like to inflame strife. I don't know though. I don't know, man.
But it doesn't change your opinion on Dana White at all?
No,
You knew
I
it
don't
was-
care. I don't care if you support Trump. Like you have to make a decision. If you think it's better to not put in
Hold on. though.
Biden,
I want
then-
to, but I want to make a big distinction here. If you're filthy rich, I don't care what color your skin is, and you support Trump, again, my assumption is because it's monetary.
Tax breaks, whatnot.
That's it. And if you're poor and you support Trump, I think we have a different conversation to have because I think you're being duped.
You're uninformed,
Precisely.
possibly.
I think there's a good chance, yes. And now maybe I'm wrong, and I'm often wrong. So, if I've offended you, listen to another podcast.
I think what it is with the broke people that support Trump, though, is more like because he's so crass. It's what is so he's an everyday speaker. That's what appeals to them. They just think that any other politicians are talking down to them, and that might create a bias that they can't see past.
Any switch from the norm. That was what the whole, whether it's true or not, that's the whole drain the swamp. They just wanted something different. People wanted something different. And I don't think that's changed. I think people still want something different, except now we're in a position, or they are in a position where some things need to be dealt with that are more important than what was important the last time because of what's going on.
Well, it's going to be an interesting 6 weeks.
It certainly
We've really
is.
gotten there, after all this posturing for 4 years.
Well, what's going to happen now? It's so set up either way, no matter who wins. We've said this before, for there to be people willing to say this was a travesty, one side or the other, no matter who wins, that it's like asterisk selection, And that's never a good thing when you have a champ with an asterisk beside him.
Well,
we know this, Barry Bonds.
That would be crazy if Trump loses and then a big, I've been cheated,
and won't leave, or vice
But hold on,
versa.
he's already fully setting it up so that when he loses, if he loses, he's gonna just call bullshit.
So is the other side, though, Matt. They're both doing the exact same thing. They are.
Hold on, you're forgetting. Yeah, but Trump specifically set up this postmaster to fuck this election. He did it intentionally because he knew that he won the last election through what? Mail-in votes. And he knows that he's going to lose this election through mail-in votes. That's why he got rid of all these fucking mail sorting machines in all these different states right before the election. It's not a fucking... Dude, these guys they all know what they're doing. The problem is none of them want to run a country well. They just want to win an election, which is insane.
That sort of negates that he's a total idiot, though.
It's hilarious, though.
No,
and this isn't
it's people.
anything against anyone. But if you listen to the opposite viewpoint, like that's a liberal view of what's happening, the conservative view is like totally different. And they're both looking at the same situation. And that's why nothing's ever
well
going to
aware.
get accomplished. Everything Matt just said, I heard the exact opposite from the other side.
Well, this happened.
Every point he argued.
This happened when Trump won the cognitive dissonance. Now, all of a sudden, half the country was like, this is great, we got Trump. And half the country is like, it's the end of the world, we got Trump.
This is the thing.
It's been the same since.
Hold on. When he was voted in, I said, first of all, I was like, all you people bitching out there that this isn't your president, that's not how democracy works, unfortunately. You have to just shut the fuck up, bite the bullet for 4 years. The same way the people on the other side bit the bullet for 8 years when Obama got... Actually, they didn't. They were like, not my president. I didn't...
This is your chance. Get to the voting booth. And that's why they have to let people get to the voting booth. And both Fauci and the other doctor there has said, we can do this safely.
Just wear a mask.
So I don't see why it's even an issue at this point. Just go, do it. Like,
Are we going to talk about the elephant in
Yeah,
the room,
let's
Kamar?
move
Is that
on.
in your notes?
there's an elephant in the room that I don't know about.
No, I was going to talk a funny story about a woman in Detroit who woke up right before she was about to be embalmed.
Oh, I saw that story.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
crazy?
No, sorry. Repeat that.
She lost consciousness. Paramedics come up. They can't find vitals. Declare her dead. Goes to the hospital. The medical examiner says, yeah, she's dead, based on just what the paramedics said.
They take her to the morgue.
Send her to the morgue. The guy's about to embalm her, and she's like, oh! Wakes up. Shouldn't some people lose their fucking jobs? And do you feel safe in Detroit?
Hold on one sec.
And this was from the CBC.
You're telling me that's how fast that happened? Like, how long was she out for?
I think it was like within an hour and a half. There.
Can we ask the real question? After hearing that, how many people a year do we just bury alive?
Well, this is what's going on,
Wait,
man.
hold on. I think that story may be fugazi because
I saw it as well.
how fucking
I told the story to someone and they said, that sounds like an Inquirer story.
how fast are they processing dead body? Like they're that efficient in Detroit?
Why did the medical examiner not ask for an autopsy?
No, but
and they had no next of kin or anyone to talk to. So they're like, well,
Kamar, you've seen the movies or whatever.
stop using pop culture to say why things happen.
Okay, sorry. We know that those bodies sit in those freezers.
We don't know that though.
Again, based on
Based on Men in Black?
'Cause I saw
or-
it in a movie, it happened.
Okay, I no problem.
I think a lot of homeless people, whatever, die in Detroit, and they're just like, we got to keep it moving, kids.
Very funny story. I think that maybe we're gonna find out that it was an old wives' tale or urban legend or something, because I just don't think they're processing dead bodies that fast.
This is the problem with the world in general right now, is that we both read what we believe is a news article, and we've told our friend about a news article we read, and he is immediately just going, nope. And this is a guy who's like, I leave nothing off the table.
You're right. My bad.
There is
My
a disconnect
bad.
there.
My bad.
The only reason I thought it was credible is because CBC covered it. Back to CBC, who
Well, they're
even
too
though-
left-leaning for me to buy that story.
Even though I think they're left-leaning, I still trust and read CBC. I just don't feel they are as balanced as they could be.
But
No,
you're
Kamar.
right. Maybe Detroit is running a total fucking like body farm or whatever.
that's it.
You could be right.
They're just
you know what?
harvesting organs.
You're probably right. I've changed my mind.
I like
Right
how I
here
didn't
on
say
the
anything
spot.
about harvesting organs until he was like, there's probably some. Okay.
Just as well.
I have a couple more stories, but let's get to something you
Oh, how
wanna
about
talk
me, maybe?
Oh, sorry.
Well, either way, we should take a break after. I just thought we would touch on the fact that,
Yeah.
the cops definitely shot another black guy in the back.
Oh, that's the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
So
we're
that's-
just not going to mention it, or
7 times. He had a knife in his car. But
If
the
Joe
worst thing
doesn't
is,
mention Brian Callum, we don't have to mention.
But hold on.
they came out and said he had assaulted a woman a week earlier. Like he wasn't a good guy, but he's with his kids, so it looks
But
bad.
my problem is this: is like, okay, fine. He assaulted a woman the week before. He had a knife in his car. You shot him 7 times in the back. You have a taser. You have mace. You have a baton.
This is the cops you're talking
Yeah.
about. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the kid who.
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
talking about
because
the
that was
cops.
crazy too. Oh, I'm sorry.
It goes back to what I say: just fucking comply. I know cops are
No,
assholes
that's
and they're
insane.
wrong. Well,
I saw a
We
video.
differ. We
so
just
here,
differ.
I saw a video of a black guy this week who, let's start with this: false arrest. Okay, they have the wrong guy. He is complying, hands on his head like this. A cop comes up from behind, kicks him in the back. The other 2 both punch him in the side. They take him to the ground. He's now resisting because he's like, I'm being assaulted by 4 cops. When they find out it's the wrong guy, they give him the secondary charge of resisting arrest because, again, he's been assaulted. This whole comply thing, like,
that's not justified, but I still say comply.
I'm with Kamar only in that's not at all to say that cops aren't horrible.
Police brutality
in
is a horrible
in
problem.
those situations, especially. I just feel like you're enraging the devil, and you don't want to fucking poke these bears because
again, I think you
they
guys are
have
looking at the
weapons.
wrong thing. It's not let's fix the cops. You guys are like, we should just be better around the cops. Crazy fucking
It
outlook.
is not
It
that
is.
at all.
It isn't the sanest outlook, but I don't know what the alternative is. Like in the meantime, until we fix this, or it might not be fixed,
People are
comply.
gonna get hurt.
like I just think it's maybe I'm stupid and privileged, but if cops are harassing me, I know my rights. Fuck you guys. Like it just. I'm sure when I was 20, I did that, and that's why I spent many nights in the drunk tank and got roughed up by cops. But now in my older years,
That's just the most, I feel like that's a very dangerous, like, just give up your rights. They don't mean that much.
it's for 3 hours or whatever. This isn't like a lifelong thing. Like the cops are harassing you every day. And if they are, I'm sure there's legal means that you can go to stop the harassment, maybe sue the police department, get a big bag. I just don't know the alternative than just complying.
There's no way you buy what you just said. Really? You just go sue the cops and
100%.
get a big bag? You're fucking insane.
Well,
dude.
that's better than getting shot 7 times and this guy was paralyzed, but losing your life at the end of the day. Like standing up for your rights in front of the cops, you just feel like you stood up for your rights. That's what you get out of it.
No, it's that listen, if you don't stand up for your right, that cop will continue to fucking do that down the road to absolutely everyone he encounters until someone stands up and says, hey, guess what, asshole? We have fucking rights as citizens. You work for us. Get in fucking line. Like, I don't understand why we all have this attitude of like, well, what did the black guy do before this? Oh, he beat up a woman. Like, it's insane. How about this? Imagine if that was your brother. Imagine if that was a relative of yours and you found out that he was walking back to his car, whether he had beat up a woman or not, walking back to his car, shot in the back 7 times by a a paid police officer, that your taxes pay them. Not only that, and then no charges pressed, most likely, right? We're all going to go down with that. That's probably how
I think that's where we're at right there. But I just
There's
think
a huge problem with that. You're not wrong.
it's insane.
yeah, I agree.
We should all be
100%.
discussed.
You both have good points.
But I think
That's
you
the
thinking you
problem
have to
with
stand up
this.
for your rights with the cops in that moment is more dreamy boom boom than complying and just down the road being upset about it. Maybe you feel better about yourself if you stand up for your rights.
I
unless you get
think there
killed.
are times where you should absolutely stand up for your rights, and then there are times where you should comply. It depends what the situation is. It depends if your life is on the line, and
But let me
it
again
all
point out to you
depends.
why. Okay, so think about what you just said. Why should your life be on the line when you're dealing with a fucking police officer that your taxes pay? Why should you ever a trained? I can't sit here and listen to you guys say this anymore. It's insane. The fact that you guys defend this and that you're like, oh,
We're not
It's
defending
not
it.
defending, and you're getting angry
And what if
over
the week,
the wrong
what if
thing.
the week
I'm
before,
not.
what if this
I
week
think
before
you're-
the cop pulls over a car and it's gangbangers and he gets shot up, like, and then everyone's on edge. It's so fucking situational. We can't speak about it like this is just the way it should be. I'm sorry.
you just brought up the most anecdotal. Okay, what if a cop pulls over a car and gets shot up by 4 gangbangers?
And then the
What
next
does that
week-
have to do with anything?
No, what he's saying,
The psyche of cops the next time they approach a car or whatever. Like it's so complicated. I 100% agree. Police brutality
Okay, well,
is
how
an
about this?
issue that has to be solved.
Fine, then get rid of their tasers, take the batons away. Let's just give them guns.
English
and
style.
give them
No
fucking
guns.
give them the gallows too, not the gallows, the fucking thing the judge has. Fuck it, give them
The
everything.
gavel.
Yeah, I'm done then. Fuck it. You're clearly on board. I mean, I get it. You're a Trump supporter. You're as right wing as
Law
they
and
come.
order.
So yeah, I get it. It's absolutely insane, and
I just think it's cavalier if you say that people should freak out when they're getting arrested unjustly and not expect anything bad to happen to them. I'm not saying that's right, but it seems more delusional.
yeah, it seems delusional to freak out that your rights are being impinged.
I would love to see you get pulled over, feel the cops shoot you wrong, and freak out. You don't think you'd
It's not
comply?
freaking out. Kamar, again,
It's so situational.
No, but listen to what you
Matt.
said. Comply. Like, again, so you just, no matter what, if an authority figure tells you, if he says put your face on the curb and shut the fuck up, you're putting your face on the
Putting my
curb.
face on the curb and shutting the fuck
Wow.
up. And I'm a bitch for that, and I can live with that. What would you do, Simon, if a police officer said put your face down on the curb?
I think I would put my face down on the curb, and then I would go wherever they're taking me, and I would say, "Give me my fucking lawyer, because you never talk to the fucking cops." And then we'd see where it goes from there. But I'd want to like,
So, okay, and let me ask you this. So 6 months down the road when nothing happens, how do you feel?
I probably feel shitty.
Yeah. I don't think that's far stretch.
But
I don't think that's a
I'm
far stretch.
alive. Like if that's the between me getting killed by them, or is that what we're debating here?
It's almost
Well, again,
like,
why is it? It's either I get killed or I comply. Like, why is that? It's insane. They
I don't know, Matt. I don't have that.
But let's keep in mind too. Were they chasing a murderer down? Were they chasing someone? Hold on, just hear me out.
Apparently, he broke up a fight.
Okay, but that's okay. We
I
don't
don't
have all
know
the
the
details.
sto- I
But
don't
let me
know
just
the
ask you
story.
this. Again, what crime do you have to commit where you feel comfortable with a cop shooting someone 7 times in the back?
Never.
Not never, because there's times where I definitely think,
But why 7 times in the back? That never makes sense.
well, no, let's say I pull a gun out. You're a cop. I shoot at you. I'm a terrible shot. I miss. I turn around to run. I mean, again,
No,
you
but
could,
why would I have to unload 7 clips into you?
well, it's not 7 clips,
Why
it's
am-
7 rounds, but 7 clips is like 32 shots.
Sorry, 7
Rounds,
bullets.
yes.
When I could easily just shoot you in the leg twice and make sure that you're not going anywhere or whatever.
I mean, again, we're all talking about anecdotal stuff. I saw this video. You saw this video. A taser would have done the trick.
I didn't see the video.
No, he got tased and resisted it.
So
Me and Simon are bitches that think you should comply, and you think you should stand for your rights.
I didn't
no,
call you a bitch.
No,
though.
no,
It has nothing to do
I
with that.
call myself a bitch, and I just lump Simon in with me.
It has nothing to do with being a bitch. I just think that we all have rights. And the fact that we give these people a badge and then just let them walk all over them because of what?
Sucks.
They're your neighbors. They're the people that live beside you. I don't understand why.
totally.
This
but
is from Rodney King. Like it's just like how the riots are now totally commonplace. It used to be if there was a riot, it'd be like big news, but now it's like right here. Police brutality has just we've become desensitized to it.
I'm not desensitized to it. That's what I'm telling you.
I don't know.
It disgusts me every time I see it.
The Rodney King thing seemed to be way more crazy until maybe the Floyd thing.
The Rodney King thing was only fucked up because no one had a camcorder.
Yeah, it was fully filmed.
Yeah, I'm aware. I remember watching it.
Oh, no one had a camcorder, so it was rare that.
Yeah, you just didn't.
It's been going on.
Now you see it. Now it's commonplace because you see you could go on YouTube right now and see literally, it would be an endless stream of police brutality videos.
It goes back to what I said. MC8 was interviewed and he was asked about police brutality and said, this has been going on forever. And I would tell my kid to comply. And it's not right, but it's better than losing your life, unfortunately.
Listen, I agree. I'm not sitting here saying I would rather lose my life than. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if we all just roll over, then this is the scenario we get in. And this is why we're here. I'm sorry. People acting like the way you guys are talking about, this is exactly why we're here. Is everyone just going, yep, you're right, officer, I'm sorry, you have the power, and that's why we're here.
We should absolutely all get together and make sure there's change implemented without having to risk these kids' lives. That's just all there is to it. And whatever that way is, I mean, that should happen. I think we're all in agreement of
this
that.
stuff happens in Toronto way more than it happens here. Like,
well, no, but we know a guy died to a cop fucking 2 years ago, like 5 blocks from here.
And it was brutal. It was police brutality. It was unnecessary. But I mean, imagine what police brutality in Russia's like, or Mexico, or El Salvador, or any of these countries.
I know, but we don't compare ourselves. Like, we constantly say we're better than them. So you can't compare like, well, at least we're not Russia. Of course.
We have it as good as it gets.
No, you can't be the best place in the world and then
compare yourself to one of the worst. You know what I mean? It's
a place where they oppress their people.
Sure. What else you have there? There's a shitload there.
Let's move on. Come on.
So Bella Thorne. Do you hear about Bella Thorne?
Of course.
The porn star?
No, she was a Disney star.
We did this.
She did direct a porn. She's 22 years old. Right. So as we know, you're not developed until you're 25. And she made $1 million on a week on OnlyFans.
Two.
I think she made $1 million a day. At the end of the week, it was $2 million. They have a function on OnlyFans where you can do pay-per-view. So not only do you subscribe, now you're paying monthly, you can pay extra for extra content. And so she said, pay $200 and I'm going to show a nude picture. Obviously, perverts ensued. The picture was just her in lingerie. OnlyFans has a thing where if you feel you've been gypped on the pay-per-view, you can get your money back. So all these people took their money back. So OnlyFans had to change their whole platform, everything, because they couldn't have this money just going out. Because it used to be creators are getting paid weekly, and they just couldn't have all this, all of a sudden, a mass withdrawal. So everyone's now mad at Bella Thorne for ruining their steady stream of income and how it was going.
Okay, let me just be real stupid for a second. What is OnlyFans?
It's a site out of England where you can, it's basically you get your site and people pay to watch you do whatever you want.
So do a lot of people go on there and like do sexual stuff? Is that the idea?
It was mostly for sex workers, but the Legion Skanks have an OnlyFans. Luis Gomez says you could have an OnlyFans.
So you would go on there and just do whatever you think somebody will pay you for.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
So, and now Bella Thorne has said she joined this platform to give a voice for sex workers and stuff. But I think she just went after her money, and all these sex workers are really mad at her now. You guys have no opinion because you know nothing about it.
I don't know a lot about it, granted. I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know what OnlyFans was, so sorry. Sounds like she fucked it up for everyone.
She fucked it up for everyone, and now people are saying, stay in your lane or whatever.
And wasn't she rich already because of Disney?
She was rich already, and she just did a cash grab. And I think when she's 25, she'll look back and go, I shouldn't have done what I did. Take advantage of people like that. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's a nothing burger since we don't know about it.
Well, I'm sorry. Do you have an opinion about it?
Yeah, I think she's totally taking advantage of people. $200 to see one photo of her in lingerie, but and then she got caught. Like if it had just happened and gone on,
had it been a naked photo, would it have been worth the $200?
I don't know. If all those people see the naked photo and not decided it was worth the $200 and withdrawn, this still happens.
They can do that.
up until now, because this happened, OnlyFans had to change.
So let
everything.
me get this straight. Hold on. On OnlyFans, if you're a guy and if you're a girl and you go on there and you say, I'm going to masturbate for 10 minutes, pay me this much.
No, you'd have a monthly subscription, and now if you want to do something extra on top to make some extra cash,
Patreon for porn.
Right, but what
Or
he's,
for,
what he's saying is I
other
can
things as
watch
well.
you masturbate and then be like, nah, that's not good enough. I'm taking my money back.
exactly. But that wasn't happening
That's weird.
because Bella Thorne did such a big thing. It was a huge chargeback.
But why isn't, like, how is that a model that makes any sense?
I don't think people were feeling ripped off until this one incident. And if it did happen to be like 10 people or whatever, I don't know those logistics. But because she was so big, it just created such an outpouring of money or refunds that OnlyFans like, we can't afford this. If everyone were to do this, we can't afford it. The site crashes, whatever. But I think she's just doing a cash grab and now saying, I did it to raise awareness for sex workers and make a safe opportunity for them. Like, obviously advised by an advisor or something to write this. Stay in your lane, Bella.
Well, what? I just don't understand why her lane can't be showing naked pictures. If you don't want to look at it, then don't pay for it. You know what I mean?
Read the story, maybe you'll understand better. I'm not good at explaining anything, really.
But doesn't that seem right to you?
You're asking 3 40-year-olds to comment on a 20-year-old getting naked on a platform we know nothing about?
Yeah, you know what?
Self-explo-
It's probably just a bad idea. Stay to Disney. I hear you.
Stay in your lane.
Well, I don't know. That seems like you're getting wrong.
It's
mad
oppressive.
for the wrong
It's oppressive,
reason.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm so confused.
Remember we were talking about the article last week of the guy said New York's dead?
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Seinfeld clapped back and said it's not dead and wrote a other article, which I think is interesting because Jerry Seinfeld's a billionaire, lives in the Hamptons. But so he doesn't think New York's dead. So that's a opposing opinion. But the guy clapped back on Jerry because Jerry wrote a couple of jokes about this guy. Said, at least I inspired you to write some new material. So the war rages on whether New York will survive or not.
Sizzle. That's some hot fucking topic, man.
Hot fire. Well, I just wanted a bookend to the other side because obviously it was just me arguing against Matt. And now Matt has the backing of Jerry Seinfeld. That New York will work out fine. And
I don't think that Jerry backing me.
What about you? There's plenty of
After a week
I've
of
heard
deliberation-
plenty of comedians saying that they think New York is dead.
But after a week, I think, I don't know the time span, but everything will return to some sense of
You
normalcy.
think that now? You've retracted your statement from last week? You
Malcolm
were-
Gladwell thinks people should change their mind about something every day. I'm not there yet.
Oh, no. I'm not angry at you for it. We agreed. Don't be married to anything but your wife.
But I think everything will work out. I don't know the timeline. Maybe it's 10 months,
But
10 years or whatever.
That's what you're going with now. That's interesting.
Yeah. Which I think is more of a optimistic point of view, which is healthier.
I personally, you know what? I don't even care.
And then, two more things. Banksy.
No, we need to take a break. Yeah.
Well, we also have Simon has a laundry list of
Yeah,
shit,
so
and
we
I asked the
needed to-
Patreon to do stuff. So
Yeah, so
no,
let's-
just what else do you have there?
Just quickly, you heard about Banksy bought a yacht
Yeah,
to
save
save
people,
migrant
yep.
Libyans, and then they had too many people, and they had to ask for help
Okay.
because it was overloaded with people. So they almost,
sank.
Sank.
The yacht.
yeah. Well, it's not actually a yacht; it's like a French Navy ship, but it looks pretty pimped
Yeah,
out.
that would have been a shitty story though. Had they had too many, they were trying to help too many people and sunk.
But
I mean, it shows you how gross the problem is.
he painted this. He painted this pink or whatever. But I think we should be not us three, but Canada should be in there helping these people, and America should be helping these people because they all come from Libya, and it's our fault that they have an unlivable state in. It's just shout out to Banksy.
Yeah, the problem is they're all going to want to come here, and we're never going to want to take them.
It's the same with the states. We want to help them. We just don't want to house them.
And we don't really want to help them.
No, we do. No, because that's the U.S.'s thing, man. We cannot watch people in oppression. You know, we are the.
But no, that's not true because they watch people in oppression all the time.
I know, but like
It's if there's oil or something there, then we can't watch people.
Of course. But we, as Canadians, we don't like to watch people in oppression.
But
That
even
is
there,
true.
But even there, we do all the time. Like, we just talked about North Korea
I mean,
10
we
minutes
do.
ago.
We oppress people right in our country. I'm not saying we don't, but
But we like to think. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I heard.
Okay, nobody wants to help anyone.
I heard
man. Like, I'm fine with that. I don't give a fuck. Wait until you hear what I have to say.
I heard an interesting discussion that if the First Nations didn't help us, we'd be America right now.
The First Nations didn't help us. We'd be America right now. Expand
Like it would
on
all
that,
be
sir.
America, you're saying?
Who knows? But the
If they
British
didn't help us fight the British, yeah.
No,
Or the
they helped the
French.
British fight the Americans.
Americans?
Yeah.
Well, Laura Secord was a pretty big help, too.
Well, wait, hold on a
No,
second.
but they actually gave their life. Laura Seco just notified the troops
I know,
that
but
they were
It
coming.
was
won
the
that
French
because of
versus
it.
the British.
It was the French versus the British,
It
but
was the Americans and the British versus the French and the natives.
it was the British and the First Nations versus America.
Oh, the British and the First Nations versus America. Okay,
Don't forget, their country was established long before ours.
listen, it's all false anyway, so don't
Okay.
worry about it.
Fake
But
news.
Fair enough. Is that it? We're taking a break?
Yeah, this has gone way longer than I thought
You
it'd go.
feel good though about what you got out there?
I don't feel bad about anything, no.
Okay, good.
How many notes do you have, and how alien conspiracy centric is it?
Well, it's good. It's going to be good conversation, man.
Yeah, this is why we have to stick to this fucking Joe shit.
It's going to be great conversation.
Yeah, I would have been more comfortable if we'd just gone back and forth. But I'm done. I have nothing to talk about.
Well, either way, we got to do an ad and then talk a little bit because that's how we have to do this. So we need.
There's rules
things.
now?
Well, I mean, that's why I went to the Patreon. I had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and to the Patreon. So it's fine. Listen, if you have stuff and you do your stuff
ahead.
and then I'll do mine.
We're gonna
And
take a
if
break.
there's not enough time, I won't do it.
What do you mean
It's fine.
time? We have unlimited time. There's no fucking. There's
Well,
nothing.
if you want to keep it to a certain time frame.
I wanted to keep it to an hour, but we're at an
Yeah.
hour
Oh, well,
20 right now.
that's- yeah.
I want to get out of here by 3, but that's not happening.
No, that's never happening. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna pay a bill. We'll be back. Welcome back.
Human rights out the window.
Welcome back. Human rights out the window. What are you talking about? Your human rights?
Anyways, go on.
I don't think those are human rights.
Oh, real quick. I had a weird thought this week. Kamar was our throwback that we just released was Rupert Sheldrake, the morphic resonance man. And Kamar was talking about morphic resonance and how he thought that it could unlock the potential of humanity, I guess. Am I wrong?
It had potential.
That's all I was saying. Yeah. So first of all, I rethought it, and you could be right. Maybe I just don't know that we could unlock it yet. But then I also got to thinking maybe we already have and we just don't know it. And I got to thinking about white women in particular.
Karens?
Sure. That's a good segue. Just bear with me for a second here. So white women manage to get themselves the vote, which is very difficult to do. When you don't have a say in anything, it's tough to get yourself a say.
You're going back in history.
I am, yes, to like women's suffrage.
suffragettes,
Yes.
yeah.
So like let's just give an example. Let's say you guys were voting on something and I came in and was like, "Hey, can I be involved in the vote?" And you guys were like, "No, you're not." Like it's tough
Exclusion.
That's it. It's tough to get yourself involved in something, and they did it. They pulled it off. And then in doing so, they then managed to help black people get the vote, and it just made me think that maybe Kamar, maybe in the generations after, maybe there was some morphic resonance there where white women in particular, Karens.
I think I see where you're going right now.
Do you?
Well, they had to be a loud voice to get what they wanted, but it's carried over now. They're bitches.
Well, yes, that's where I'm at. Yes.
That's the downside
I'm just
of
trying to break
morphic
it down.
resonance.
I'm
Yes.
just trying to break
Well, no,
it down.
I'm trying to strengthen your argument.
Yeah, I'm sure everything has negative consequences, but I think if people have a voice, that's a positive.
But hold on, you're taking it too far. The Karens is a
yeah,
funny
I
part.
broke it down, yeah.
The Karens is a funny part, but I'm just saying, in general, maybe that's why they have that strong, like, we want to change the world and change everything and make it better, because it's like, maybe it's that morphic resonance saying, like,
the
I don't know.
sixth wave of
I mean, I
feminism.
think you're assuming that that's in all women, first of all, right? Like
No, because I said that. Well, first of all, I said white women.
white women. No, but I mean, there must be a huge percent of the population of white women that are just like happy to.
Sure, of course. I'm not blanket statementing anything. And what I just said was retarded, but
Anyways.
Just a fucking thought.
I'm totally down with the morphic resonance. I think, like Kamar, it could be an X Factor type deal if we knew how to unlock the true potential of being able to, communicate on that kind of level with each other.
Well, not communicate. It would just so much be like, I know physics. Now you know physics.
Everyone knows
To
physics.
me,
That's it, yes.
To me, that's a form of communication. We're sharing ideas. We're just doing it without having to waste our time flapping our gums.
Well, that's where you and I had a disagreement last week.
The part that Kamar I couldn't wrap my head around, although I'm not against, is I'm immune to this virus, so you're all immune to this virus.
Yeah, I couldn't
That was
wrap my
just
head around
wishful
that either.
thinking.
No, you
Check
never know.
out the
But
Patreon because it was a hot discussion.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
No, but that was it. Is then I sat back high out of my fucking mind in my basement, and I was like, okay, well, maybe you never know. Maybe it's just the same because it's the same principle.
Well, this is what
Your body just. I mean, it's creating antibodies, but maybe your body just flicks something on.
Since we don't understand the concept.
Well, this is
we
what
don't understand shit.
This is what I'm thinking. Okay, we're all sitting here right now, and above us, you don't see it, but there is a super highway of consciousness. You know what I mean? And
just right above us.
maybe it's not right above us. Maybe it's way up there,
Okay.
like up there, but it's going. And if we were able to harness into it, we could then use it to transfer information, to get information, and all the things that come with understanding the rules of how to use these superhighways.
You know who's going to help you do that?
Who?
Elon.
Oh, fuck. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kamar, because
You're
that is I didn't even, this isn't planned.
Nothing up the sleeves.
I want to talk about Elon. Okay? So, Elon, here's the thing. I've been watching a lot about this Neuralink. Is that why you brought him up?
He
Put
attached
it
it to
in-
pig.
to the pig and everything like that. And you know me, I thought if you go back and listen 20 episodes back, maybe even sooner, I was like, this guy is doing the Lord's work, He is blazing trails and all of that. And it's just kind of more recently that I've come, because I didn't like him, and then I liked him, and then now I'm back to, I think he's a CIA plug, for sure. Obviously. But listen to this, okay? Even if he's not, even if he's just a guy they're using him for his technology, if the CIA is able to get their hand, if Neuralink, if everybody agrees, like, oh my God, Neuralink is the new best thing, we all have to get it, especially the youth, they are going to have something in our brains that you don't think there's going to be a back door for them to get into. They're going to be able to turn anybody into a Manchurian candidate like that. Or if they want to Clinton you, and all of a sudden you drive off a cliff, just like that. They're already in your head. It's like when you sign away your data to these companies, you're going to implant this thing and not even know what you're allowing them to do. So,
yeah, but I mean, you could argue the same about, and I know you're going to love this, but fucking vaccines. You sound like an anti-vaxxer, to be honest.
Okay, I don't want to go there. So
Okay, fine.
meanwhile, you have Elon,
Yeah.
okay, who's this like white knight, right? Like everybody looks at him like he's this, he's like the Jesus of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just thinks he's doing everything great. Perfect. That works perfectly into the CIA or whoever's plan, because
So did the CIA give what's his name from Apple cancer?
I mean, you're doing my work for me, buddy.
Well, Apple's always been very staunch in the not letting anyone in.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then the next guy who comes in probably doesn't have the same fucking scruples that what's his fuck had.
What was his name? Who am I talking about, Kumar? Apple.
Tim Pool?
No.
Not Tim Cook either. Not him.
No.
Tim Cook is the new guy.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Thank
Jobs.
you. Jesus, how do we not fucking think of that? I'm so old.
Well,
He's
because
dead.
they killed him a long time ago and he's out of the fucking vernacular now. No, that's exactly right. We're doing their work for them, man. I'm telling
So I
you.
killed Steve Jobs?
No, I just mean to put him out. They want him out of the lexicon. This was a guy who was trying to push some real different ideas that were obviously against the. I don't know. I'm tired of saying they, but I legitimately don't know who they are, but it's obviously something.
The transgenders.
No, it's not.
Well, I mean.
We're going to call them the lizard people from now on, because I just don't know a better name for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Let's call them.
Them, fine. Zim.
No, just change one letter, them.
Anyways, you know what I'm saying. I don't know who exactly they are.
But you're concerned.
I know that the CIA works for them, whoever they are.
All right. If Christian Williams wants to know if you could go into any celebrity's phone for 2 minutes, who would it be and what would you look for?
The celebrity is sort of a loose term. Like they have to be in entertainment, or they're just famous.
Just anyone famous. Why not?
Bill Clinton.
Oh.
And what are you looking for?
I'm looking for fucking sketchy shit.
You want to look at child
I was
porn?
just going to say.
That's weird.
No
man.
communications to people.
Okay.
I just go to the search function, type Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure it's all erased.
I would have to go into like, shit, I don't know, man.
I was going to say Bieber for the celebrity nudes, but that seems gross. Oh, I guess Chappelle. Just to fucking see. I imagine his Rolodex of texts is staggering.
Yeah, no one ignores Chappelle.
I would go into Tom DeLonge's phone.
Oh, yeah. I figured you were going to like a Graham Hancock it or something like that.
No, DeLonge would make sense. I was going to say Lou Elizondo, but I think DeLonge might even have like, I don't know. Maybe he's just dumb enough to take more pictures, you know?
And you just go through the photos?
I would.
You only have 2 minutes.
Or I would go through the photos, yeah. I think he would have taken a picture of an alien somewhere. Or a UFO.
It's just sitting in his phone?
For sure. He's not.
4-digit password on there?
He went on Rogan, dude.
Okay. His password's just 33333.
Dude.
If you know what? I bet Lou Elizondo will go on Rogan. Mark my words.
Your words have been marked at 10 minutes
or
and 36 seconds.
somebody from that show, from Unidentified or something. They're going to do something. So they're going to be on there.
So do you guys have a list of guests that you would potentially like? I'll do mine real quick. I have like 7 here that I would like to see. Obviously, Chappelle's at the top. Rick Rubin.
Cool. I'd love that.
Zach De La Rocca.
Mm-hmm.
Flea.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Cuban.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Portnoy.
Mm-hmm.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
You are the problem.
Oh, Simon, you hit the button. I'm the problem.
Our
Wow.
first drop. Yay. We used the technology.
And the dude from All Gas No Breaks, I think would be I think he'd be a fun guest on Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Do you have any others?
I would like to see Louis C.K.
Oh,
Great one.
fuck yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres.
That's never going to happen.
What? This is just dream guess.
You can't say that. She's a comedian.
Anything could
You
happen.
never know.
Bill Clinton, Ghislaine Maxwell,
Wow.
and Donald Trump.
You,
And
but
Trump,
hold on.
I think, is the top.
Can I ask you, like genuinely, do you think the Trump episode would be good?
It would either be a fucking dumpster fire or it'd be amazing. And it's sort of like that thing, like, it's possible he's interesting. It's possible. No, well, it's not possible. But
Well, no, I just
mean in a 2 hour, because he always has a half-hour conversation talking about the issues, but a 2 hour long form interview just talking about whatever, it may come up to be interesting, or he would expose himself. I think that's the real motivation to.
I feel like anytime I've seen him be interviewed, it's almost as if he's not listening to the questions at all.
I don't think he is.
Okay, so at least we're on the same
I
page
think in his
there.
head he's just like, I'm the best. I'm the best. Sorry,
Yeah, I
you
think
said
he's just
something?
got like a stock answer that's going to big him up.
But just my point being, in a long form interview,
guess, yeah.
I don't think it could be kept up. But if he does, then he should be an Oscar-winning actor. Quentin Tarantino,
Oh, fuck, that might be a good one. We could
Martin
get
Scorsese.
too old.
At this point, probably, yeah. Chris Nolan, he might be interesting.
I don't know, though. I think we've established that we don't want too much Hollywood, do we?
Well, I think the question of celebrities was interesting, or forced me to think about one thing. But I don't think about any. Bill Gates. I don't think really about scientists or
Yeah, I
ancient
figured.
civilization
I
people like
figured
that.
you and I weren't going to that. I figure Simon's going in that direction. Simon, what about you?
James Cameron.
I would.
Oh, James
James
Cameron would
Cameron
be a
is
good
one
one.
I would love.
Also Canadian, so that'd be nice.
And again, brings me to something else I want to talk about the ocean and whatnot. But yeah, that would be a great one. I was thinking Buzz Armstrong would be a good one.
Too old?
Neil Armstrong? Buzz Aldrin?
Or Buzz Aldrin. Sorry.
Their love child?
Yeah, no, not. I got mixed up with.
The both of them. You said Buzz Armstrong.
No, Buzz Lightyear.
Okay.
I got all fucked up. Anyways, I think that would be interesting. And if I had to pick an actor, I think Christian Bale would be interesting.
Oh, you know who I'd say. If there's an actor, it's Tom Hanks.
Oh, right. And I would love to see the return of Tom DeLonge on the show because I think it would be an interesting
I think
return
that
conversation.
must be in the mix. It must be in the mix.
Well-
but will he come in and just going, "Wow, I told you, bitches"?
No, I think Kamar, that like I said, you might see somebody else from To the Stars Academy, not Tom DeLonge.
Something involved with that.
So like one of the other
all the
guys,
developments.
there's a bunch of dudes they could bring on.
What about that Canadian defense minister?
Well, I talk about him all the time.
Yeah, but wouldn't you like to see him on? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, is he even still alive? I think he's dead.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure of that. Yeah, he believed there were 12 different races of aliens, and it all functioned like I think it does, like the Federation. And yeah, no, it's really interesting though, because the two major things in Star Trek are that it operates like that, like there's all
Interstellar
these things,
Federation.
but that there's that rule, right? I forget what it is, but
Not to interfere
the
with
name.
anything.
Yeah, if you find a planet that's
You can
less,
observe but not get involved.
that's you can't fuck with their growth. You can't interfere. It's so interesting because that would explain, if that's how it really works out there in the galaxy, why they can't fuck with us. Why that would answer why they haven't destroyed us yet, why they haven't done anything. And if they are doing it, they're going, this is a group that's going against the protocol, you know?
Would
I ask
the
you a
powers
question,
that be here know that?
Wouldn't rule number 1 of the Federation be don't talk about it? And if you do, you're out of the Federation?
Like Fight Club.
Yeah, but like it just seems odd that Gene Roddenberry would get this pass from this interstellar
Go make a show?
Federation.
Or maybe
Yeah.
you got kicked out and I'm doing the show anyway.
No, dude, you're doing amazing. That's again an amazing segue to something Subway I wanted to talk about.
Oh. Real quick, that was no fluff that wanted to know who we wanted to see. Go ahead.
You know, there are like we've been talking a lot about the CIA and winds of change, and
Interesting.
I love that.
That's like the they. Okay.
on this podcast,
Sure,
we've
yeah.
been discussing a lot
topic.
about
Okay.
winds of change and the CIA and how they influence our own people and the youth in other countries and all of that. We also know that writers, I mean now for sure, but back in the day, were proliferating a lot of ideas that may have been against the grain at the time. Guys like Jules Verne or Edgar Allan Poe or I don't know, different writers who were, you know, giving out ideas about what the future would have been like, may have been like.
Futurists.
Excuse me.
If you look at it that way, maybe those were guys at the time who were being used the same way that, you know, the CIA used the guy for Winds of Change. And they're just there to proliferate information that
They want.
them want you to hear, you know? And that's how you would do it. Like you would do it. Back then, those were the guys who were speaking to the youth, to the counterculture, to the, right? And it's all, listen, if the CIA really is just an extension of like some other group that had come up from another group that had come up from another, like that's how these things work, then they're running this.
That's how these things work.
They're running this same playbook from God knows when, you know? It's very interesting. I mean, it really,
here's
I'm
why I
telling
can't
you,
buy that.
Winds of Change has
But here's why I
like
can't buy that, Simon.
broken the fucking glass curtain for me.
Explain to me why something that worked. Careful, you're going to knock that thing off the table. Explain to me why something that worked like 100 years ago would work now.
because people are people are people are people.
No, and I'm fine with that argument, but I mean, you have to adapt to the times.
Absolutely.
So,
And they do, Matt. They adapt from the times by using an author to infiltrating a concert and using a band. And like, it does change. It's just the same play, and they implement it in all different time periods. It's brilliant. And it's obviously tried and true because they keep on doing it. To me, it's amazing. But really, I know I harp on this winds of change because, again, to me, it's this moment of like, holy fucking fuck. I had just heard it all about Manson on Rogan, which was like the start of the curtain being pulled back. And then this just...
What about the CIA running drugs and
all of that, man? That's what I'm saying. Everything I knew until that point, because that was all like, it seemed important. And this one seems like, why are they fucking around with a song for kids, you know? And then I was like, no, it's just as important, but on another level. And they have their, like I said last week, they have their stinky little thumbs in a lot of fucking pies.
But I always wonder
why do they have stinky thumbs, Simon?
Because the pies stank, because they're shit pies, Matt.
Oh, nothing worse
always
than
wonder-
a shit pie.
Nothing worse than a shit pie.
I always wonder when you bring up the CIA, are you looking for pushback or agreement, or are you just raising awareness?
From you, I'm looking for agreement. From Matt, I'm obviously looking for pushback. This is all for awareness.
Awareness, that's what it's for.
I think there are only two things I'm meant to do, okay? I think one is expose the CIA. And two is to enlighten you about ancient civilizations.
Oh,
no.
so Bigfoot?
Bigfoot, that all is nonsense. It's fun.
Whoa.
No, I think it exists. I just don't know. Like,
Edit that out.
I don't know.
He doesn't know what
That's
he's
off
saying.
brand.
I do not know how much, like, I'm with you, okay? If we discover Bigfoot is real, that's incredible. Doesn't change much, okay? If we find out there were ancient civilizations that existed 30,000 years ago, that changes fucking everything. So I'm with you. That's fun. I'm not going to stop talking about it, but I don't think it's important. I think people understanding that 6,000 years, 10,000 years, that's fucking nonsense, man. Nonsense. And if you're letting your kids be taught that, like, you're doing everybody a huge disservice. Huge, huge disservice.
How?
Because we should know where we come from.
You don't know where we come from.
And the fact
So
that,
explain to me where do we come from, Simon?
well, I know that it started a lot before they're telling us.
So how did that just help humanity?
Okay, here's the thing, man. If the them are trying to keep that from you, they're doing that because there's something there that they don't want you to know. Something good. They wouldn't be keeping it from you if it was bad. They'd be warning you about it.
What? Okay. So you think they warn us about the bad stuff, but they keep the good stuff away from us?
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, now you're just arguing against yourself, but I'll indulge. Keep going.
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Fair enough.
I think those are the things that are like actually important because those are like, anyways, it doesn't matter, man.
Well, no, it matters. You're
No, doesn't matter.
okay.
So move on.
You're gonna knock that thing off the table with your foot.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll
fine.
catch you with my feet.
What else you got there, Simon?
Oh, we're on to my stuff now?
Were we not? I asked two small things.
Yeah, no, I thought maybe there was more on the Patreon.
There's a ton more. but
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
I don't want to do mine. I want to do, because some guy asked about,
Well, yeah, he wants to know what you think about the missing plane and if you thought Bigfoot was part of an ancient civilization.
right. So what missing plane is it?
I believe the one that...
The Malaysian
the
plane?
Malaysian one.
That they never
Like
found.
M6 730 or something.
I don't know, man. They can't find something that crashed in the ocean?
Well, you argue that the ocean is huge and...
No, this is what I mean. Like, that was like, I think a lot could happen to that thing in the ocean.
I think their argument was that it crashed not so like middle of the Pacific, but more...
The human being who has gone the deepest in the ocean, what part of the military do you think it is?
I think it's James Cameron. He was so
Guy's the
sneaky.
worst. Yeah,
Like,
this guy's the worst.
oh, the U.S. Navy. Do you ever read?
You would think so, right? Kamar, you would think so.
I wouldn't because I listen to the same things you listen to.
No, I know, but they don't. That's insane.
Do you ever read Clive Cussler's
insane.
Books?
No, he's like
He's
a
It's like an
spy
Indiana
guy.
Jones. No, more Indiana Jones, not so spy. But the lead character is in the oceans, so there's always stuff in the water. I find it interesting.
Yeah, no, the oceans are so big. They're so big. There's obviously, I don't. It seems very odd to me. We are
If I was an alien, that's where I'd hide.
We are a very curious creature, human beings. We want to get to the bottom of everything, except literally the ocean. We're okay with just like, yeah, don't bother.
But
What's down there? I don't know, but don't bother.
We've agreed that it's the conditions of the ocean that are not favorable to humankind because you can't breathe under there. And once you get deeper, the pressure crushes you. So it's just not. I mean, if Bezos changed his mind, maybe you could populate.
You need a huge benefactor. That's
Lot
the
of
problem.
money.
Why? That's James Cameron. He has tons, and he's been down there.
He doesn't
There's
have Jeff
nothing down there.
Bezos' money.
Not even close.
And I think he might be going bankrupt with this new Avatar.
But that brings me to Antarctica because there's another place where nobody ever goes.
But the conditions are not favorable to humans.
Oh, here we go. Flat
Again,
earther.
you would need a lot of money. No, it's not flat Earth, Matt, at all. If anything, it's hollow Earth, but it's definitely not flat Earth.
Gotcha.
And here's the thing about hollow Earth, okay? It doesn't necessarily hollow Earth is a stupid word. It's a stupid idea because it's not.
No, it's filled with lizard people, so it's obviously not hollow.
No, but
God.
we do know that there are really intricate cave systems. And I think that's what they meant at one point when they were coining the term hollow earth. And it became like a stigma to talk about the fact that there are like massive caverns, which there are for sure. Like we know this, in Antarctica, especially, I think there are ones in the ice. And apparently there are like massive lakes, like the biggest lake in the world is in Antarctica, and it's underneath the ice, but it still functions as an ecosystem with rivers that run, and it's like crazy. So here's the thing. There was always like the tales of Admiral Byrd who flew over and he said he flew in and there were people living in there and all that. That seems far-fetched, even for me. But we do know that the Nazis were up there for sure. That's a fact. They were up there. They were building bases up there. We don't know why they were up there, but the rumors are that there could be like an ancient civilization that's caught in the ice that would have existed a long time ago before the ice came, I
Sorry,
guess.
did you say the rumors? The rumors are this is happening?
Well, like rumors. I don't know.
I just think that'd be floating around.
I heard it somewhere. I didn't make it up. So what do you want to call that?
The theories.
The theories. Sorry, not the rumors.
Rumors makes it,
I'm
everyone's
sorry.
talking about
I'm
it in
sorry.
back rooms.
I'm
and
sorry.
stuff.
The theories.
Pardon
the
me.
Theories.
Semantics.
No, I mean it's. I see where you're going. I don't think a lot of people are like talking about it around the water cooler.
I
if
do not
that's what
either.
you mean. But what if there is like something that's there and that's why the Nazis were there? So just humor me for a second, okay? Buried deep underneath the ice that they could get to through some cavern somehow, maybe caused by the fact that there are tons of volcanoes underneath the ice in Antarctica. I didn't know this, but there are. So those could be causing like heat pockets, and that could be what's creating entrances to some of these places that wouldn't have been available before. Anyways, so they find this ancient civilization, kind of like a pre-Incan empire or something like that. It would have had to be way older than that, obviously, like really, really old to be caught under all that ice, because it would have had to be before the ice age, before the last ice age. That would be incredible, right? Like that would really be
That's
incredible.
a very ancient civilization.
That would be so ancient that it would be insane.
Do you wish there was something in life that made you excited and giddy?
Oh my God,
as
it's
this stuff makes
insane
sense?
what
Anyways, so that was one theory that I heard. The other theory that I heard is that the reason that the Nazis were up there in the first place is because same type of idea caught beneath the ice, which means very old because it would have had to have been iced over,
The Predator.
are 3 UFOs. Okay. One of them is humongous, like
Huge.
a mile across. And that's what they were doing up there. They were building their bases around these things. They were trying to study. They were trying to get through the ice to get to them. Dude, again, it might just be a tale, but it is so fun. It's so fun, man. Like, that is a great story.
It gives me joy seeing
It's a
the joy
great
you
story.
derive from this.
And that, it just, the way I was saying, you know, like when I said Hollow Earth, the first time you immediately went flat Earth, this is crazy, don't talk to me about this is silly. When you start thinking of it more of like caverns and cave systems and things like that, it's totally feasible. But over time, through stories, it's become this thing that seems far-fetched. And I'm sure that's on purpose. The same, we talked about this last week, or maybe we talked about it on the Patreon. Science should be a thing where whatever idea you have, you investigate, because that's what science is, right? You're trying to find out the unknown.
You make a theory and you have to disprove it for it to be science.
If I'm trying to talk about aliens scientifically and you immediately poo-poo me, I'm not going to want to talk about it, and then no new research is ever done. That doesn't seem right. But they do that, in order to keep some of the science from happening, I'm sure.
You're sure?
Well, come on.
Sure.
I mean, they discredit organizations. It's the same thing they do with, like, I don't even know. I would know. Yeah, anyways. Then, you know what? Then the last thing I'll say about the CIA is when you think about the CIA and cults, and you think about this idea where, like, we know what they were up to with Manson. Or
Mind control specifically is what you're talking about, right?
We think we know. Well, no, just that, but putting leaders into power of, to start these families of people who follow them. And they're actually in charge behind the scenes, you know, because they're running the puppets. It's just, then you look back on a lot of these groups, like, it all kind of falls into place, man. Koresh, Jones, like, that's what they were doing. They were just running experiments and seeing what, like I said, throwing a lot of lines into the water.
I love that you think that. So they only operate in the States.
No, I think this happens everywhere. I was going to give you this example of, I told you about that cult that took place up by my cottage. It's like the Temple of the Rising Sun or something like that. They were actually an alien cult. So weird. And their home base was in Switzerland. And a lot of things have happened in Switzerland. There's been like 2 separate mass suicide cults there. Have you ever heard of that guy, Billy Meyer? He's like this alien dude, and he uses these, like, his footage is so clearly bogus. He uses these tiny little models. Like, it looks like they're on strings. It's crazy. But he has this mass following of people who are like diehards, again, in Switzerland, who think this guy is like the Messiah. Anyways. It's just, look, you could say, oh yeah, the CIA is doing everything. That's crazy. But when you think about all the different weird attempts they made, just let's try this, let's try that. Oh, you want to do magic incantations? Oh, you want to talk about mind control? Oh, super soldiers, this, that. Like, it never fucking stops. It's crazy.
You can blow your mind and get lost in it.
You can totally get lost in it. But winds of change, that's what made the difference, because it seems so fucking benign. And you're like, right, but this is just this was somebody like, you know, Matt works for the CIA and he likes music, and he was like, oh, let's give this a try. Anyways, I'm done.
Do you have a top 3 movies? Someone wants to know that of all time.
Fight Club.
Really?
I love Fight Club. It's one of my favorite movies. Well, obviously, top 3. It's really hard. I mean, it's really hard. Fight Club is
Just throw 3 out quick.
Goodfellas.
Yep.
Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and True Romance.
Ooh, yeah.
They dated now, but very impactful for me when I saw them.
That's all that matters. Yeah, it's to you.
That.
Well, no, it's whatever you want.
Yeah.
Jesus, there's no
I
stipulation.
Don't fucking rule.
Yeah,
Well, no, I just
say it.
wouldn't. I liked Star Wars obviously when I was a kid, but like it's garbage now.
It wasn't when it came out.
What if
E.T..
what if I told you that the CIA was responsible for Star
I
Wars?
could not give a fuck.
It wasn't. I was just testing you.
If what you said is
Or
true,
maybe it
half
was,
the
I don't
shit
know.
that makes life is caused by the CIA. So I'm going with it.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Shawshank,
Oh, Shawshank's amazing.
Classic.
Goodfellas.
Classic.
Isn't it so weird that Shawshank is a Stephen King book like that?
It's a short story.
I know, but it continuously blows my mind. You know.
Oh, really? I mean, Green Mile. That was also a Stephen King.
I know. But Green Mile is very different than the movie. I think Shawshank is much closer to the story.
I mean, keep in mind, it was a short story, though. So, the screenplay is really what made it.
Fair enough. Yes.
I'm
Right.
just being serious as far as,
no, that
again,
makes
great
sense.
idea by Stephen King, but it was, I don't think the short story was longer than 40 pages long.
Right. I'm trying to think even what. Yeah.
Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
It was part of the book that Stand By Me was in, wasn't it?
Stephen King wrote. I think I've talked about this on the show before. Maybe the
Nope.
Bachman Chronicles. Have you ever read those?
No.
So it's Stephen King when he was writing under the name Richard Bachman, and he wrote. It's like 4 short stories in it, and one of them is called Rage, and it's about a kid who takes his classroom hostage and kills people with a gun. Dude, it's way before any of that stuff ever happened.
It's weird that it's never been brought up by any of those fucking school shooters.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's always Catcher in the Rye. And No Country for Old Men, I think, would be up there for me, too.
No Country for Old Men.
Although True Romance
Big
is...
Lebowski. That's definitely
I was going to say
up
that has
there.
to be in yours, yeah. But definitely True Romance is probably in and out of the top 3 all the time.
I have to rewatch True Romance. I haven't seen it in a while, so
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix right now.
Yes, I think you are correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewatch it, and then I'll let you know if it makes my top 3.
I mean, again, the opening credits alone, you're like, who isn't in this fucking film? What else? What else you got,
classic.
Simon? You don't have
Oh,
anything?
and then what was the Bigfoot thing? Sorry, what was the Bigfoot?
He wants to know, White Iverson wants to know if you think that Bigfoot is part of an ancient civilization.
I mean, anything is possible, right? It could be possible for sure. That it's kind of a cool idea, actually. I haven't really given it a ton of thought.
So but I don't get it. He's the last. Is that it?
No, they'd be like the last couple of clans that have survived across the globe, you know?
Survived underground.
Well, that's my theory. In the caves.
Gotcha.
Again,
Chuds, yeah.
don't call it Hollow Earth.
Okay, sorry.
No.
Do you have a movie game for us, Kamar, before we end this shit?
Bill and Ted's 3 came out, so I thought we'd do Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's the
Cool.
movie game.
Cool movie. I like that movie.
The new
Why
Bill and
Bill
Ted
and
looked
Ted's
terrible.
is coming out?
Oh, it's out.
out.
You can rent it right now on Apple TV.
Shut your mouth. Really?
Yeah.
So it's Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
and that guy who played...
That guy, that's so mean.
well, I'm sorry. I don't know his name. Do you know his name, Matt?
Alex Winter?
That doesn't sound right. I thought it started with a C. His last name.
It's Alex Winter.
It is?
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I got to get going.
He was in...
Okay, go ahead, Kamar.
No, we'll finish the movie game and I'll leave.
He was in Lost Boys.
Yes.
He was one of the vampires.
Jason Patrick.
There you go.
That's a classic. We'll do that
Oh,
one.
that's one of my favorite movies too, man.
Boom.
For
Lost
sure.
Boys,
Yeah,
really? Okay.
It really, and that had a huge impact on my life. Made me want to be cool.
Back to the Future actually had a huge impact
Oh
on my
yeah,
life,
Back
too.
to the Future, dude. There are so many movies. It's nuts.
Oh, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off had a
there's
huge
another one.
impact on
There's
my
another
life.
one.
3 movies is not
That's
really
another one that made me want to be cool. Ferris Bueller's
Yeah,
Day
for
Off.
sure. And skip school,
Well,
which
yeah,
I did a ton of. Go ahead, Kamar. Sorry, Bill and Ted. Oh, that's it. It's the movie game.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head, decide what year a movie came out, the budget, and the box office.
Cheeks, you're not fucking helping here, pal. There we go.
And
What was the second Bill and Ted's called?
Bogus Journey.
Yes, thank you. Fuck, I could not figure it out yesterday, and I didn't want to Google it.
Boom.
That's with Death, right? Or is Death in the first one?
No, Death's in the second one, I think.
Yeah, it's the set where they got to beat him in all the
Journey.
games.
Yeah. No, because the first one, they're going and getting the guys from history and
Yeah.
bringing them back for the oral exam.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening because I'll leave after this movie.
And Napoleon and all.
Socrates.
Socrates. See, that's where that's from.
Yeah, I told you.
That's where
I
that's
said that
from.
to you.
Jesus.
Socrates.
Directed by Stephen Herrick, starring Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin. Music by David Newman.
Oh, yeah, Carlin.
Oh
Mr.
my
Fly,
God, that's
Ryan
right.
Pictures.
Carlin is like,
Jesus Christ.
he's like the dude.
He's the dude. He's Rufus.
Yeah.
That's his name,
I
right?
totally forgot.
Rufus?
Fucking Carlin's in that.
I just pulled that right out of the air.
Running time, 90 minutes.
Well, because Death is the dude from Shawshank.
Okay,
He plays Death in the new one, too.
I don't know. Maybe it's this.
Oh, we're doing year. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, man. I'm way off. What year do you... Oh, you changed it twice?
Twice, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I just went with my first gut. I
Okay.
think I'm wrong.
Go.
86.
I said 86 also on the third try. I started 84, 85, 86.
1989.
Oh, we weren't even close.
See, I was
Okay.
literally... Then I thought to myself, well, there's no way I was 3 when this thing came out. That's impossible.
No,
Fuck.
you weren't that yet.
As they never get it.
Yeah, 89. Okay. Budget. This is going to be a real fucking difficult one. The first Bill and Ted's. Okay.
And if you watch it, you have to watch all three in order, I think.
I'm way off here, but I'm ready. Way off, but ready.
February 17th, 1989.
Oh, 10 days after my birthday.
After his birthday.
10 days after my birthday. Yeah. Right. Fucking right, man.
Okay, I don't know if I'm even close, but we'll see what happens.
I'm either close or I'm a country mile off. I never go even, but I just said 10 million even for the budget, and I said it made 76.8.
Oh, fuck. I fucked up.
Well, you don't know. Like,
I fucked up.
there's no
I
stakes
said
here.
it was 16 million, and it made 174.
Yeah, you guys, we jump around to 2 years. The actual budget was 6.5 million,
Not
Oh,
even
I was close.
and the box office was 40.5 million.
Well, you're pretty close.
Yeah, but this is where that threshold thing fucks up. Because
The
like
five
I was,
is too easy.
But
I mean,
I'm
I went
way
double.
off.
You're on,
I'm
you're
way
on.
off.
Oh, you
You're
you
way
were a
off.
If
country
we're
mile
judging
off.
by
Yeah.
who's closer, then you win.
Movies
I mean,
don't make that much.
I'll say this: I was in the right park, as in I knew it didn't have a super big budget, but that it made a good ROI.
Oh, for our rules, you did win.
Well,
You're
but
50 million with
I
the
don't,
thing.
I don't give myself a win there.
Should we do number 2?
No, Kamar's got to go. Let's not
sorry.
torture
No,
this
no,
guy.
sorry.
Fuck.
You guys finish off. I'm going to leave. I apologize to you guys. I apologize to listeners.
Fine, don't worry.
If you told me we were going to have a 2-hour podcast with no Joe this week, I would have said you're crazy. I'm impressed with us. We're able to do it. We're kings.
I'm not. This episode was shit.
I love the listeners. I love you guys.
Have a
We'll
good
talk
day,
to you
Kamar.
soon.
You be good. Wrap it up, pal. Well,
Kamar
Simon.
Babar.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll drop it all on them.
Bye, Kay.
And then there were 2.
The last time this happened, I didn't like what went down.
What went down?
I don't know. We had some like big, deep fucking conversation.
About what?
I don't know.
are
Probably
you talking about?
Probably about racism or something.
Jesus, you guys are fucked. You know that? You guys are both fucked.
No, I'm saying like the last time you and I were left alone.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand. Like,
Let's keep talking about aliens is my point.
it's just weird that you guys, we have this podcast and like you guys kind of skirt away from any like serious topic. Like we can talk about bullshit till the cows come home, but anything serious and it seems like,
No, I just know it's going to start a huge argument where people actually get
cares?
feelings. I don't like it, man.
but
I
here's the
don't-
thing.
I don't want to do that.
Let me be honest. I've never during this podcast actually caught feelings that didn't
it
go away
seems
2
like
minutes
you're
later.
catching feelings.
No, why? Because, dude, first of all, emotions matter. Like, do you want me to just sit here like a robot and tell you my opinion? Or do you want me to fucking really tell you my opinion?
I want you to do whatever you want. Absolutely.
I hate this podcast.
Okay, well, maybe we shouldn't do it anymore.
Well, maybe I'm with you.
Well, this is a great. This didn't take long to dissolve
Do the plugs.
without Kamar.
Chico, chill out.
Maybe he's the glue.
No, he's not. I can assure you of that.
Was there anything else I wanted to talk
Oh my
about
God,
before we're done? Did he shit on you?
No, he just won't chill. Like,
Yeah.
there, go.
No, I think I pretty much hit all the nonsense I was looking to hit. Yeah. I'd like to think about who my top people ever would be on the show, but I feel like I would just give you a name and then think of a better name after. Bill Murray, there's a fucking great...
Oh, fuck. That's incredible. See,
Isn't
there.
that a
That took
good
you
one?
2 seconds.
And that solves a lot of bases, actually, Matt, because again, guy who totally believes in UFOs, you would also get great stories out of him. I like those double threats, you know?
Yeah, Bill Murray would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be the second Ghostbuster. No, it wouldn't be the second Ghostbuster?
Sorry? The second Ghostbuster.
To be on JRE. Dan
Yeah.
Aykroyd was on.
Dan
Are we
Aykroyd.
having the same conversation right now?
Yes, it would be the second Ghostbuster on, yes. And they can't get Venkman, but
Because he's dead, yeah.
he could get whatever. I'm sorry, Kamar is calling me.
Okay, well.
Was I supposed to answer on air?
No, I'd rather you didn't.
No. So, hold on.
Let's finish this. This is a disaster. Okay, go. You go too, and I'll do all the stuff that matters
I'm
here.
not going. I'm just looking out the door.
It's fine. Why don't you put those on the microphone that we're recording into? That seems to work. Real ragtag operation we got. I swear to God, I'm the only one that feels like I know what I'm doing here. Are you done? Thank you for listening to this absolute fucking shitstorm of an episode. You can blame Joe Rogan. You can find him at joerogan.com. Send all your hate mail there. We do have an email if you want to email us. It's jreepodcast@gmail.com. There is a Instagram and a Twitter. They're both a JREE podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram at Kamar Babar for the weather. You can also follow him on Twitter. Simon doesn't want to be followed. I don't care to be either. There's a subreddit. It's reddit.com/JREE podcast. If you want to join the conversation, post some stuff, give us your opinions. Again, tell us we're shit. Do whatever you want. That's fine. And the Patreon, of course. If you want to support the show, you can do so for as little as $5 a month. And you get extra content for that. You'll get the post-show early, as well as a couple episodes of This Won't Age Well, the series where we go back, we listen to old episodes of Joe Rogan, and we do what we do on the normal show. And again, it just helps us get new gear, keep the show rolling. It's not always easy doing this. Trust me.
As you can tell by the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. I guess that's really it. If you are on the Patreon, we thank you so much. We did just have to get rid of the $1 tier. We didn't have to, but we chose to. I'll just be honest with you. So if you were on the $1 level, you're not going to get any content anymore for that level, so you might as well leave, or you can go up to the $5 level where you will continue to get content. If you can't afford it, we understand completely. We don't want you to give us money you don't have. If you can't afford it and you want to support us, please do so. It's patreon.com/JREE podcast. And the YouTube. Even if you don't plan on ever watching us do this fucking shit show, please just head over to youtube.com/JREE podcast, hit that subscribe button, and then you can piss off forever. We don't expect anything from you. You don't have to watch an episode. We're just trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark so we can try to make a buck an episode off this fucking thing. Simon, you have anything you want to say to everyone?
Yes. Could you please go and leave a nice review on iTunes? It really helps with their stupid analytics. I know it seems like a nothing to most people, but that's that. And this episode wasn't so bad. You're being crazy. That's it was actually really good. And really, when you think about it.
Oh, the ultimate salesman over here.
No, I'm just going to tell you something.
Sure.
When you think about it.
Okay.
What we do is we talk about things that were brought up on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Everything we talked about today
Yeah.
could have easily have been brought up on Joe Rogan. It just happened to be not. But this didn't change our podcast so drastically that you'd be like, hey, wait a second, what the fuck? This isn't at all. You know what I mean?
No, it just feels like it has. First of all, it's 90. This is the 97th episode we've done, excluding post shows and throwbacks and everything. There's at least now 97 episodes in. We have a little bit of, at least when I remember to hit the button, we have a little bit of form. You know what I mean? The show flows in a certain way. It always has the same, which you could sit there and I know it seems like, oh, well, who cares about that? But that actually is something that matters in a podcast or a television show, or you know what I mean?
I totally understand.
So for me, that's just one of those things. And whenever Joe does one of these off weeks, it always kind of throws off to me, throws off the flow of the show. Like we're all we don't really know where to go. You know what I mean? Like once we start an episode, like, oh, Bill Burr was on. It doesn't matter who goes first or where we go. We all listen to the same episode. So it doesn't matter which order we hit the topics in.
You don't end up with a story where some people don't know anything about it.
Precisely.
So it makes it hard to talk about.
There you go.
I
that
understand.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
So listen, we had one of those, but for the most part, like there was nothing that we were talking about that we wouldn't have talked about anyways. So
of course,
yeah.
It always but it also just, I become fearful that, a lot of people are like, well, you guys could easily switch off the Joe Rogan thing and just do your own thing. And a part of me is like, yeah, I don't know if I would do that.
It makes it different. I agree. Joe Rogan gives us structure. That's basically
that was the word I was
what
looking
it
for.
is.
Thank you. Structure.
It gives us like a scaffolding on which to build off of.
Yeah.
If it ended up just being us talking about whatever the fuck we wanted, yeah, I mean, maybe that's not good for you. Maybe that's just too...
Well, no, I mean, listen, it's like...
Here's meaning the thing. That you'd have to listen to anything I wanted to talk about.
So but I mean, again, it's not just you, it's Kamar too. Like, yeah, like you said, if you came in here on a fucking serious alien tip one week, I would have to sit here for God knows how long, maybe a full hour, 2 hours, and just listen to alien stuff. And I might hate that.
Yeah, you might
Whereas,
hate that.
It's fine. Like if Joe has an alien guy on, I'm aware that it's going to happen and I can prepare. You know what I mean? It's also not all the time. So that's...
Yeah, Matt, I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm probably in agreement with you.
I know. I don't think we're arguing about this. I think it's a good discussion to have.
I just don't think it was, I think it would make the show different. I don't think it would make it worse. That's all I'm saying. Not that I want to change.
No, I know. I get it.
God forbid a cease and desist comes our way, Maddie. Yeah. I think we have options.
Of course. Like I said, I just, you and I, just real quick before we finish, Simon and I had a conversation last week about if we had started a podcast not about Joe Rogan, how we probably would have ended up just coming on the podcast and spoken about who Joe had on that week, regardless.
And then
probably been like, we should have just done a podcast about Joe's show.
That's right.
So we saved ourselves fucking 6 months to a year of...
That's right. And we would have been like, holy shit, we should be doing a show about Joe Rogan. Yeah. And it saved us 6 months. Yeah, no, Precisely. Absolutely. There was one thing I wanted to say. I heard a really good quote. Okay. And I'm sure I'm going to butcher it, but just bear with me. It was something along the lines of, we know what we know. We know what we don't know, but we don't know what we don't know.
All right. Well, I hate that quote.
I knew you would. But I love it.
Okay. I figured, and as soon as you said it, I could see the smile on your face.
There are things out there that we don't even know about that we don't know about.
I get it.
I love it.
I get it. It's just the statement is kind of paradoxical to me. That's all.
Of course, that's the point.
Yes, I get it. I understand.
It's amazing.
Fucking ridiculous.
Anyways, so take that for what it's worth. And yeah, that's it, man. We good?
Yeah, I mean, I did all the plugs. I assume no one's still listening at this point, so it is what
I
it
bet
is.
you 3 people are still listening.
Accidentally.
Thank you, Gavin
and
Workman, and thank you,
Alex Anthopoulos, for
thank
sure.
you. There you
yeah,
go. And I bet that's the first time anybody has ever gotten his name right on this show.
I doubt it. I probably butchered it. He's probably like, these fucking idiots.
No, but usually Kamar does it. So
Kamar has.
That's got to be better. That's got to be better.
For sure.
Anyways, thank you.
Thanks for
everybody
listening.
for listening.
Thank you for watching.
You do it.
Chico loves you. We love you. We hope you have a great weekend. We hope you tune in for the post show, for the everything.
There's a post show?
Oh, that's right. No post show this week. We hope you tune in next week. Simon, you want to...
yeah, that's it. Keep your eyes open.